It's Black Monday in the NFL. Pete Carroll no longer has a job. Others? Well, we'll find out soon. It's the Manchild Show with Boy Green live, digital, right here. Starts now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. 'Cause when it's for, it's all we're gonna do. And Boy Green is always on the scene. And we're gonna always bring it to you live streaming. So get ready, ready. Get ready, 'cause here they come.
All right, everybody, welcome aboard. Monday live show and a very special Monday in the world of the NFL. It is Black Monday, and that is usually not a good day because people are tossed out on the streets. Although I'd say, my old partner Bud Poliquin would say, don't cry a river for these guys. They're all millionaires, probably many times over, so no reason to cry. But certainly the assistant coaches and some of the others that get tossed out the door along with the head coach makes it, I suppose, a little bit sadder situation here on Black Monday. But this is where, and you see the terrific graphic that Boy Green put together today, the Grim Reaper is out. And that sickle that he's holding there may not be done yet. But let me give you the latest and the greatest. Obviously in the headline there, Pete Carroll is the latest to be jettisoned off after a single season with the Las Vegas Raiders. He was brought in there to bring stability, and stability he did not bring. He brought a great deal of instability. By the way, the Raiders are keeping their GM, John Spytek, who will work with Tom Brady, the minority owner slash, whatever you want to call him, and they will work on the next head coach. And so I would expect that the next head coach has some kind of connection or ties to Tom Brady, considering that Brady is obviously in on this decision. So we'll get into all of that. Where does Vegas pivot next? Just before that happened, Kevin Stefanski this morning let go by the Cleveland Browns. There were a lot of rumors that was going to happen. Stefanski has certainly had an up and down tenure. His record, not very good, but again, working for one of the most unstable organizations in all of football, the Cleveland Browns, is no easy task. He has navigated through the waters of the Deshaun Watson debacle, which he wasn't completely responsible for. And then, of course, what has happened in the last year, drafting two quarterbacks and then not even having any clue which one of them is actually your quarterback, and having the veterans and everything else. So Stefanski has navigated a lot of waters. Their GM, by the way, who came in with Stefanski, Andrew Berry, is keeping his job as well. So sometimes both go, sometimes only one goes. In this case, both with the Raiders and with the Browns, only the coach goes and the GM stays in place. Boy Green, you want to jump
news.
in? Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon has been fired by the Arizona Cardinals. Just coming in.
Off air, and I said, if Gannon isn't fired within the hour, the Arizona Cardinals don't know what they're doing. And now he has been fired, because there were some reports, as you were telling me off air, that Gannon was perhaps safe. And I was like, safe? Yeah. This guy's had 3 years, and he's done nothing but create chaos in Arizona. So I don't want to say I'm happy for a guy being fired, but I really thought he was at the top of the list. And what were they waiting for? Well, it's out in Arizona. Don't forget, they're a couple hours behind us here on the East Coast. So folks have to get into their offices and have to have their little meetings, and then obviously have a little powwow with the coach and let him know that he's being let go. So that was probably the delay here. It's probably more of a time thing, which is why we probably waited for Carroll and got Stefanski early. And by the way, one other guy I should mention, Raheem Morris, was let go. He was the first. That didn't even wait till this morning. That was yesterday with the Atlanta Falcons, and GM Terry Fontenot was also let go. So that was a complete bloodletting there. They let the coach and the GM go together. Morris, 16 and 18, not so awful in all due respect in his couple of seasons with Atlanta, but they feel, Arthur Blank, the owner, feels like this team has underperformed. Hey, this team, by the way, finished tied for first. I know it's an 8-9 under 500 record, but tied for first, and you're out the door in year two. Wow, tough sledding in Atlanta for Raheem Morris.
Real quickie on Morris, this one just makes me cry, but Ari Meroff, he's an NFL insider extraordinaire on social media. He shared this morning a interesting result that happened during the season, and if it had gone a different way, it would have changed the fate of two teams. So in what would that have been? 11, 12. So like in week 13, the Jets beat the Atlanta Falcons 27-24. That was the final Jets win of their season. They never won another game the rest of the way. The Falcons, after that game, won 4 of their next 5. If the Falcons had beaten the Jets, the Falcons would be the NFC South champions. They'd be in the playoffs, and the Jets would have the number 1 overall pick. The Jets would have had the top pick. The Falcons would have been in the playoffs hosting a playoff game, and Raheem Morris would still have a job. But it just goes to show you the very fine line in the National Football League from this to that or the other. So we will continue to react, Lurch, to all this breaking news, and I expect even more activity happening here because obviously we're getting all these announcements of Stefanski fired, Pete Carroll fired, Raheem Morris fired, Gannon fired, but we're also getting statements of security like Zach Taylor, Cincinnati Bengals. He and Tobin are safe in Cincinnati. Shane Steichen was announced last night. He is safe, and so is Chris Ballard in Indianapolis. So we're getting safe announcements and fired announcements, and there's still several that are still hanging in the mix.
Well, right now, just to put everything on its axis here, right now there are 6 openings in the NFL for head coaches. Here they are: the Falcons, the Giants, the Browns, the Titans, the Raiders, and now the Cardinals. Okay, so 6 jobs available at the moment. I said to Boy Green again off air right before we started the show. And by the way, sorry for the hour late today. That was all my doing. Boy Green and I powwowed this morning, and I had something going on. And I said, can we let's wait till noon? Plus, we might know more. So kind of glad we did because we do know more. Now we know Jonathan Gannon is out. Now we know Pete Carroll is out. And we may still hear, who knows. Here's 3 others that I think are somewhat on the hot seat. Now, you tell me one. You've already told me one of them, no way. He's already been given a vote of confidence, but you just said the same thing about Jonathan Gannon, and look what just happened. So nothing's a sure thing. But I've looked at the whole NFL this morning, and I was like, okay, who is legitimately or perhaps could be or should be on the hot seat? All right. Mike McDaniel in Miami. I know that they let the GM go earlier in the year. That was a midseason decision, and it seems like he's gotten a little bit of a vote of confidence to finish out the season. But if he's not on the hot seat, I don't know who is. But right now, he still sits in his job, and we have not heard anything out of Miami. Miami's obviously on the East Coast. So if we don't hear something by tomorrow from Miami, I suppose we should move forward thinking that Mike McDaniel will stay as the head coach of the Dolphins. Obviously, they've got quarterback issues and need to figure out that whole thing. Sitting Tua at the end of the year obviously indicates to me that they're going to jettison Tua off and they're going to look in a different direction at QB.
Real quick, I just want to throw this out there. I want to go through any of your names you have. So you mentioned all the head coach openings. There's 2 GM openings. That is Miami and Atlanta right now. Those are the 2. Miami currently is requesting interviews with other GMs. So they're being active this morning, but not in the head coach realm at this point. So they're requesting interviews for different general manager candidates, according to Adam Schefter this morning.
Right. I also heard this morning, and this comes out of WFAN in New York, fairly reliable source, the big sports radio station down there, that Joe Schoen has been given an additional vote of confidence, and it does look like he will move forward and be part of this decision of hiring a new coach for the Giants. So it looks like Schoen is going to stay. Of course, that's just one report coming out of New York, but usually those guys at WFAN are pretty plugged in, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, it is official. It is official. The Giants have released a statement. Okay. Yeah, I will bring that up here in just a second. But yes, that one is official after the earlier reports. Okay. And here it is. I will be throwing it up here on the screen.
Here. Okay, go ahead.
He will. Now, again, that does appear to be the case. It appears Shane will be making the choice. The only reason I say, even with this statement from the Giants, which we're about to put on the screen and read, last year the Jaguars said Trent Baalke was safe twice. And then they went through the whole Liam Cohen thing. He didn't want Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke got fired. They hired Liam Cohen, and a new general manager is hired. So even still, you never know. But this seems pretty official. This is the statement.
We've been down this road, even right here in Syracuse, where a vote of confidence was given by the boss, and then weeks later or days later, bye-bye, changed my mind. So people can change their mind. But the fact that the team has put out a statement and everything, I think this is pretty rock solid. I think Joe Schoen would have to do something really kind of outside the box, weird, or something, away from the field of play or something that might create a situation where they'd have to fire him at this point. I think based on football decisions, they're going to stick with him. Go ahead, read the statement.
Yeah, here's the statement from John Mara and Steve Tisch. Quote, the 2026 season has been deeply disappointing, and the results on the field have not lived up to the standard this organization and our fans expect. As previously stated, Joe Schoen will remain our general manager and continue to lead our football operations in the search for our next head coach. Continuity and stability in the front office is important to our progress. We believe in our young core of talent, which we can build around for future success, end quote. So, Lurch, let's do this part first because, whoa, firing. And now we can react to some of these and some more that are set to come potentially. Did the Giants make the right choice here by sticking with Shane and getting a different head coach? Because now you have two guys that are obviously not on the same timeline here. Shane, is going to have, I would assume, more heat under him than whoever this new head coach is.
The answer to that question is I have no idea. Okay, that's the answer to this question. Is I have no idea whether they've made the right choice. You know me. I've been preaching this for 25 plus years on the radio and now in the digital world. I always prefer stability. I always prefer continuity. The Giants, when they've been good, it has been about stability and continuity. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they've built over all these years and all the championships they've won. Why? Continuity and stability. I think it's important in the NFL, this moment-to-moment, prisoner of the moment, we didn't have a good year, therefore fire a guy stuff just isn't good for business. It isn't good for long-term success. So, in essence, I agree with the decision, I suppose. I am personally not a big fan of Joe Shane. I am personally not a fan of some of the moves that he's made. But he has made enough good ones, including what looks like a very good one in getting Abdul Carter, assuming he can get himself on a path here to success, but he certainly looks like a player who has a lot of upside. Can he become one of the all-time greats? I don't know, okay? But he has the potential to be one of the all-time greats, okay? And it looks like he has found us our quarterback, and we've been doing that forever. You have to give Shane credit for that, regardless of other misses, Saquon Barkley's situation, Daniel Jones's situation, and other things that have been botched, okay? GMs are going to make mistakes, but I do think he's done a fairly good job drafting, okay? And in this last draft, he's got two memorable pieces that truly could be centerpieces for what's to come in the future. So I guess for that reason, I'm going to say right decision, even though personally I'm a little bit waffly on Joe Shane and kind of his tactics and the way he kind of handles business. Go ahead.
Breaking news, Monty Ossenfort is staying as the Cardinals general manager. So again, the Giants are not the only one that's doing one of these splits where they fire one guy and keep the other. But Diana Rossini, NFL insider for the Athletics, says the Cardinals will be retaining Monty Ossenfort, who will lead the search for a new head coach. Right. There was major questions around his job security.
Out, Ossenfort stays. So we had two situations where the GM and the coach have been fired. All the other situations, GM stays, coach fired, and it said at the moment, folks, 6 openings available in the NFL. Let me finish my list and tell me what you think, okay? I'll leave a couple of names on here. There's not a big list, okay? This list is now down to 3. Mike McDaniel's one. I just mentioned them. So does Miami make a change? Are we going to have a 7th opening? I honestly think, and I know he's only 2 years into his tenure, is Dan Quinn truly secure in Washington? Dan Quinn, to me, if you really look at the blueprint, is exactly what Brian Daboll did. Okay, he had a fantastic season last year, took his team into the playoffs and won some games. Okay, looks like he's got a franchise quarterback there. Everything's great and rosy. And then they go out this year, and I know their quarterback got hurt, and some things didn't happen that maybe could have health-wise, but they didn't stay much afloat. I mean, they were a pretty bad team this year, and they turned into an awful team. And even when Jaden Daniels got back out there later parts of the season before they finally shut him down, it didn't look all that great. So I don't know. Is Dan Quinn on secure ground? I guess he is because it's only 2 years. I think they'll give him at least one more to right the ship. But if he doesn't right the ship this coming year, he should be fired. In all honesty, they've got talent. They can't win. They got to find themselves another coach. So we'll see. Dan Quinn again. This is his 2nd run in the NFL as a head coach. And it started great in Washington, but this year was not a good year for the Commanders. People thought they were going, maybe to the Super Bowl. I mean, they were contenders. Were they contenders? They were never contenders this year, not even for a moment. No. So I wonder about Dan Quinn, but there's been no scuttlebutt about him. I haven't heard anything all season long about his job security. So I guess he's probably got I don't know what his deal is, but he's probably got a 4 or 5 year deal. They all get 4 and 5 year deals now because they have smart agents. So they got to pay him for a bit, but it's not like that ownership lacks money. And they certainly seem like an ownership that is like moving and shaking and wants to get good fast. So the fact that they've had a big regression here in year 2 of the Dan Quinn era makes me think about it, but I suppose we're not going to get that one, but he's on my list. Mike McDaniel's on my list. And then the last one is one that we should all be thinking about. And I agree with Boy Green. Again, we talked about this off air. I don't think John Harbaugh is going to be fired, but I do think if Baltimore moves on from him, maybe they try to trade him. Okay. And that might be a path to getting Harbaugh out of Baltimore. So I don't think they'll fire him, but they might try to trade him. And certainly a team like my Giants would have a huge interest in getting a veteran guy like that. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. So that's where it stands right now, folks, with 6 current openings. Those 3 to me still perhaps at play. Maybe McDaniel, the strongest of the 3. Harbaugh, perhaps a trade. And it does appear like Quinn's going to keep his job, but I'm not so sure why. Not so sure. If the Giants had made that decision about Dable before he got into year 3, maybe this year would have been better. Just saying.
Yeah. So to respond to all of these, so first off, Dan Quinn just completed his 2nd season with the Commanders. First season he goes 12-5. It goes to the NFC Championship game. This year he goes 5-12, and Jaden Daniels was hurt for a lot of it. So while there was stuff beyond the quarterback injury, obviously the season that went on, I'm fine giving him a pass. So first year was spectacular, overperformed in a lot of the ways that you compared it to the Giants. They overshot what we all thought they were going to be. And the Commanders going even further, they went all the way to the NFC Championship game, for Pete's sake. Giants won 1 playoff game. So I mean, that part I'm okay with bringing him back for a 3rd year. But if the 3rd year is terrible, then you move on. And the great news is that you have Jaden Daniels. That's the most attractive thing to any prospective head coach. And why wouldn't you want to jump on that train with a quarterback that's already there? So Dan Quinn, I think he's safe. I don't think that's going to happen. But again, year 3, if it goes terrible this year, I have no problem firing him. Mike McDaniel, now with the GM being sought after here, if I'm a GM, I still think it's possible that I could come in and say, yeah, I don't want Mike McDaniel. Thanks. Move on from him. So his status, I think, remains up in the air. Again, similar to what happened with the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. They moved on from their head coach. They stuck with their general manager initially in Trent Baalke. And then Liam Cohen did not want to work with Trent Baalke, and the Jaguars wanted the head coach bad enough. They said, fine. All right, Baalke, see ya. And he was a part of the entire head coaching search up until that point. So I think we could get it in a reverse way where the GM is the vacancy, and they say, I don't want to be paired with Mike McDaniel here. Give me a new coach, and that could be a late one. So I think Mike McDaniel's still up in the air. We have heard no official word there. And then on Harbaugh, we talked about it before the show, and you just brought it up again. I think if they move on, if they move on, you know, it's just two sides saying, you know what, we've been doing this for a long time. Tip of the cap for the Super Bowl. That was awesome, but we just haven't been able to get over the hump. Maybe this is John Harbaugh's Andy Reid moment, where he had a lot of success with one franchise when Andy Reid was with the Eagles, 5 NFC Championship games, the Super Bowl appearance, didn't win, and they were successful for a long time, but it was just best for both parties to split. It worked out for both. The Eagles ended up winning Super Bowls, great, and then on the other side, Andy Reid was this phenomenal coach for the Chiefs, and they won Super Bowls. So that ended up working out for both parties. I think that's where we could go here with Harbaugh. And according to the recent sourcing, Ian O'Connor, we'll have to get him on the show. I've had Ian on my show before. We'll have to get him on this side. He's got a lot of great Giants sourcing. He believes that Kevin Stefanski has surged to the top of the Giants list, and he is very much in their conversation. But they've had internal conversations about John Harbaugh, and if he were to become available via trade, the Giants would 1,000% be interested, and he'd be their number one option. So if I'm the Giants and you have this iconic franchise, I'm calling the Ravens saying, hey, what is it going to take? Because there is a history of trades, and you're not going to like this, Lurch, I assume, but, you know, there's a history of trades, and most of those involve first-round draft choices. John Gruden, Sean Payton, Bill Belichick. Like, you go through the history of head coaches being moved in history, and they go for primo capital. And with how good Harbaugh is, maybe it's worth it for the Giants. I'm not sure, but the Giants have the 5th overall pick, I do believe, which let me pull it up and say also, Lurch, I want to thank you and all Jet fans. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I'm going to get into
the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah,
so we'll get into that later.
Serious conversation about this later.
Okay. So let me get into this Harbaugh thing, though. Would you be willing to give up a first-round pick, whether it's this year or next year, for John Harbaugh potentially to trade?
No.
Okay. All right. What would you be willing to give up for Harbaugh if a trade was the only way it would happen?
No,
which I would assume
other than first rounders, like I would give up
anything that's not a first rounder. You'd be open.
But I'm not giving up any first round picks to get a coach.
Okay.
No. There's other choices out there, you know, and if they don't want him, what the heck? Then just wait for him to be fired, you know, if you really want him, you know, and wait for him to go.
Wouldn't someone else trade for him, though? I would imagine another team would cough up the
Who else is out there that's going to cough it up? Who else?
Let's see. So run through our openings again.
Are the Falcons coughing it up?
Probably not.
Are the Titans coughing it up?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Are the Raiders coughing it up?
I don't know. The Raiders have screwed up so much with Tom Brady. I could see that. Yeah.
I could see that, actually. I actually could see the Raiders.
Now, not the first overall pick. They'd have to work it out where it'd be a different
course.
year, but I
Yes.
could see that. Yeah.
Be a future number one, probably.
Yeah. Right.
Would the Cardinals cough it up?
They don't seem like the franchise that would.
They're not an innovative, cheapo organization. So to me, there's really only 2 potential fits of the 6 openings right now that would make any sense
in trade, right?
In trade. I don't even know if they make a ton of sense for Harbaugh. Not that I guess he'd have to be part of this, right? I mean,
well, of course, he would have to agree because the immediate extension talks.
And I would think the more attractive situation right now would be the Giants. I know that with Brady out there, there's leadership supposedly in Vegas, but they just feel like they're a long way. The Giants have a franchise quarterback right now. Okay, it at least appears that way. They've got a fair normal number of draft picks here with a very high draft pick this year, and some good young talent to build around. I mean, I just kind of think and they're super stable. I think that Harbaugh is used to being around stable organizations. He certainly had a lot of stability there in Baltimore. So if you're going to make a move, let's go somewhere else where there's great stability. And the Giants have proven if you do the job, they will get behind you. They will be stable. The Giants want stability. You just heard it in their statement, for crying out loud. I mean, we're keeping Joe Shane because we want continuity and stability. You don't think they're dying for a coach who would provide continuity and stability? To me, I'm starting to wean the choices a little bit. Let me go there, Boy Green, since we're already here on the coaches.
Please. Yeah.
Number one, let's talk Kevin Stefanski. I have to say something. Now, I wasn't articulating this last week because I think was evaluating, Kevin Stefanski. I know he's a two-time coach of the year. So Brian Dable was a one-time coach of the year. What did that do for us? A lot of nothing. So don't roll out the dopey awards to me. Just show me performance, okay? Yeah. Show me W's, and I'll show you the money, okay? Mm-hmm. I just can't make the leap with Kevin Stefanski. How do you sell to your fan base that we're taking a guy that's been a loser over the last, 7 years he's been there, something like that?
Who, Stefanski?
Stefanski. Okay?
I believe he's been there 5 years.
All right,
but I'll
5
pull
years.
that up.
Can you pull up his record? I don't have it in front of me. All right.
Yeah.
How are you going to take a guy that's coming off a losing season as bad as yours? Okay. And you're going to put him in control because he's been around the block? Because he's been a head coach
so he was there for 6 seasons. I have his record.
It was right between the two of us.
Yeah,
all right. Overall record in 6 seasons.
Is 45-56.
So he's got a losing record. They've been to the playoffs, I know, twice.
Yes, twice. That's correct.
He wins in the playoffs. One, maybe.
Yes, in 2020 they won that playoff
one game.
So
one game.
They beat Pittsburgh. But over the last 2 years, he has 8 wins.
Right. I mean, 8 wins over the last 2 years, 2 playoff appearances, 1 playoff win. Mm-hmm. And you're going to sell me on that guy. Let's bring him in. Let's give him the long-term contract, and let's put him in charge of our organization because we want stability. I don't see it. I just don't think coming off of this job, whether you think Stefanski is a good coach or not, I just don't think coming off this job that Giants fans can stomach Kevin Stefanski being named at the slightest hint of failure. He's done. Like the fan base will quit. You'll have those half-empty stands again where the opponent is filling up more of the seats than Giant fans are. Giant fans aren't going to put up with another nonsensical, terrible hire. They need a good hire here. They need a guy that's proven. They need a guy that is going to deliver some level of stability and success. You could sell that with John Harbaugh. You can't sell that to me with Kevin Stefanski. So I'm out on Stefanski now, Boy Green. He is off my list completely. Sorry, you can't convince me. Kevin Stefanski is off. Okay. Can't do it.
So that can't be good that you hear Ian O'Connor. Normally has really good Giant sourcing to hear. Kevin Stefanski is very highly thought of on
terrible
the list.
news to me. Terrible news to me. And by the way, before we get off of the Giants and Shane too, let me go this direction too. I've got a lot to say today.
Sure.
Monday brings out all these thoughts. Okay.
I guess so. Yeah.
So I've been hearing more and more. I've been hearing Joe Shane's going to stay. Now the Giants have made it official. They put out the statement this morning. In case you're tuning in late, he's in. Okay, he's going to. He's in on the coaching decision. Don't give me this nonsense because I've been hearing this again through the talking heads place, not directly through the Giants, but through talking heads. But a lot of the talking heads, guys like Ian O'Connor, as you mentioned, who are in the loop, who are talking to good sources, who are connected well to the organization, et cetera, are saying things along the lines of, yes, Shane is going to be kept, and he'll be part of the decision-making team for the head coach. Let me just straighten this out right now, okay? Let me just put my cards on the table or tell you what stable organizations do, okay? Stable organizations with good continuity don't keep their GM and then say, we'll put him in handcuffs and we'll double check all his work and make sure that he's got his things buttoned up before any decisions are made. If you trust Joe Shane to continue as the general manager of the Giants, here's my advice, John Mara. Here's my advice, Steve Tisch and the Tisch family. Let him make the coaching hire. You just have said you trust him as your GM. If you indeed do trust him as your GM, then trust him to make the hire. It's just that simple. This is not complicated stuff. Why are you keeping the guy if you don't trust him to make the football decisions? I don't want ownership making football decisions. I want my general manager making decisions. I want football people making football decisions. And I don't care whether Jerry Jones or Steve Tisch or John Mara have been in a million years, or Lamar Hunt, or he's not alive anymore, but the Hunt family, or anybody you want to pick that's one of these great, bastions of stability and long-term success in the NFL. I don't want these people deciding about head coaches. I don't want them deciding to draft picks. I don't want them deciding about trades. That's why I hire a GM and a president, is so that those guys can make those decisions. I hire football people to make football decisions. That's what the Giants need to do. So if you're keeping Shane, he's the guy, and you live and die with what he decides, period, end of story. Otherwise, fire him. That's the way it goes.
Yes, I believe half measures are the worst things in the world.
Absolutely stupid.
And to me, if I was the Giants, and I've decided now, apparently by all accounts, outside of like Harbaugh being traded for, and he's like, I don't want Shane. Outside of that possibility, I guess Shane's going to be the guy. And if Shane's the guy, then he's the guy. You're either pedal to the metal or you get rid of him. You have to have conviction. You have to be all in or all out. And obviously, it seems like this Giants front office, by their wording, says they like what Shane has done with the roster. They like a lot of the decisions he made. They said he made quote unquote good moves. Okay. If so, then you got to trust him to be the guy. So I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more there for the Giants.
Now, before we continue down this coaching road, I have another bone to pick here. Okay.
Oh, boy.
This again has been on my mind for a long time. For anybody that has watched us and listened to us all the way going back to the radio days,
sure.
When it comes to Major League Baseball, I have been shouting from the rooftops for 15 plus years about an automated strike zone and how baseball needs it. And I don't even want what they're going to finally install this year, which is the challenge
system, right? Yeah.
You get a limited amount of challenges, and if you get it wrong, you lose it. And if you get it
it's a whole thing. Yeah.
And just like the NFL does with replay, it's just stupid. I want the calls to be right. I want the game to be officiated as close to correctly as is humanly and machine-wise possible. Okay? Put both of those things in there. As humanly and machine-wise possible. Let's not just leave it up to the humans. Let's not just leave it up to the machines. Let's collaborate here. Okay? So, I preached that from the rooftops forever. We're getting some semblance of it finally in Major League Baseball, who moves at a snail's pace. The NBA and the NFL have a problem with me, okay? And they should have a problem with every one of you that's a football fan, okay, and an NBA fan. The NBA has at least changed it a bit, okay? They created the balls, the ping pong balls. And so, all right, so if you're last place, you're not at the top of the draft automatically, and you don't go get your Victor Wembanyama the year that he comes out, because he can be a changing kind of guy. You still got to throw the ping pong balls in there, and you get a few more than the other guys, and you got a better chance, and we'll see how it all plays. Of course, that stinks too, because we're getting teams that are like 10th worst, okay, winning the lottery and getting guys that they don't, getting great guys. So NBA has tried, but in my opinion has failed, and needs to still look at it again and figure it out. But we're here to talk NFL today, so let's talk about the NFL. This system stinks, okay? Worst, how can you back up a system, okay? And I've thought this for years. This is not just coming out today, folks, but it's coming out vigorously today, because I have people sending me all morning long, hey, thanks, Lurch, for your Giants. Hey, thanks for letting us move up. Hey, thanks for the memories. Hey, I'm sick to my stomach about this, okay? And here's why I'm sick. Does not forget about what happened yesterday. Forget about whether you're a Jets fan or a Giants fan or a Bills fan or whatever fan you are that's at the top of the draft. Okay. How about we just be football fans for a minute? All right. Let's talk. Let's me and you talk. Okay. Let's have a little chat here. Okay. We're football fans. Okay. Just every one of us, Jets, Giants, or whoever you are out there, Cleveland Browns. Do you not want your team for 17 games to go out there and give you maximum effort and win, baby, win? Just like Al Davis said all those years ago. Just win, baby. Just win. I get in front of my TV set, or I go to my tailgate, or I sit in my season seats, okay, my season ticket seats, all right, or I do whatever I do for my team, all right, because I'm passionate about my team, and I care about one thing and one thing only, ultimately. I want to win. I really want to win championships. I want to win rings. I want to have trophies. I want to fill my trophy case and have all the guts and glory and go to ticker tape parades and so on and so forth. But I want to see my team win. We now have gotten to a place in the NFL, and it happened for a long time in the NBA, and it's still not perfect there, where we don't want to win at the end of years. Okay? You can't tell me the Raiders want to win. I know they won yesterday, but it didn't matter that they won yesterday. They already knew what the result was, so they go out there. I'll tell you what, if the Raiders were in that same position, okay, and the Giants had lost, and they had that 61-yard field goal, they would have gone for it on fourth down and called the worst play in their playbook and not got the first down. That's what they would have done, Boy Green. They wouldn't have kicked that field goal. They only kicked that field goal because they knew it wouldn't cost them anything, and they could say, well, look, we got to win, too. Look, we ended the season with a win. Aren't we great? Come on, Vegas.
Actually, the only thing I do want to thank Vegas for is for that win, which seemingly on the surface meant nothing because they still have the number one pick. They gave the Jets the first pick in the second round because of that win over the Chiefs. So we now have the 33rd overall pick, and they dropped several slots. So Raiders, thank you.
All right, more thanks for the Jets. But seriously, Boy Green, do we as football fans, and anybody that's watching right now, you as a football fan, you know where I've been the last few years, right? We have been on this horrible train, Giants fans, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
And we get to, get week 10, week 11, week 12. We're like, all right, let's just start losing, man. This is pointless. I mean, this is totally pointless. I don't want to be in purgatory. I don't want the 10th pick or the 15th pick, man. Give me number 1. Give me number 2. Get me at the top of the draft. I need game-changing players. Give me choices. I want choices. I want more choices. All right? So that's what we've become. We've become a society of rooting against our team at the end of season so that our future will be brighter. That's sickening. That's bad for sports. That's terrible for the NFL. And it's god-awful for fans who spend their money, on NFL ticket, on season tickets, on wings and pizza. If you get in front of your TV, I don't care what you spend your money on. Whatever your money goes to your team, it goes for a purpose. And that is I want to watch my team, and I want to see my team win. No. You're going to be like me. I've been like this. I'm one of you, okay? Get to the end of the year, lose. Come on, man, let's lose. I don't want to see you do anything. I'm sitting watching a Dallas Giants game yesterday, saying to myself, what are you guys doing? And then I'm like, the other side of me, it's like, good angel over here, bad angel over here. Bad angel's like, what are you doing? Lose the game, you idiots. Number 2 pick. Come on. It's the worst you can do. Heck, the Raiders might even pull a miracle off, and you could be number 1 again. Come on, man. Right? And then the other angel's like, this is the Dallas Cowboys, dude. We got to beat them to the ground to a pulp. They want to pull Dak Prescott. Let's pound the backup quarterback. Let's kill these guys, right? So I got good angel over here. I got bad angel over here. And I don't know where I should be. What an awful place for a football fan to be. And I know I'm not the only one out there that felt this way, all right? You know what? In the end, I'm proud of my team. My team won 2 football games to end the season. They played the game, dare I say. We have a sponsor, Bayberry Automotive. They're not our sponsor today, but I'll give them some props right now. Integrity in everything. And I love those guys. They're an auto mechanic service that actually tells you what's wrong with your car, tells you how much it's going to cost beforehand, tries to do the right thing by you because we know we live in a world where mechanics can be a little sketchy and we don't know everything about cars. And they start saying, yeah, that sphincter valve and the thing, and it's going to cost you $2,000. And then you go to a different mechanic's like $200. All they got to do is change the tire and you're good. You're like, what? What about the sphincter valve? What's sphincter valve? There's no such thing. All right. We've all been down that crazy road. All right. Integrity does matter. And it should matter a lot in sports. Okay. Especially when we have betting mechanisms now in place where we are partnered as the NFL is with betting organizations. All right. And we're going to roll out this nonsense of lose and you get a better future. And we're okay with that. No, no, and no. As much as I'm championed all these years, the automated strike zone in baseball, I am now champion of we need a better system in the NFL for end of season and for teams near the top of the draft. Maybe we got to have some kind of playoff for the bad teams. And the winner, dare I say, gets the number 1 pick. Not the loser, not the one that rolls out all the terrible backups and gives you the worst product that you can see and loses by 30 points. That's the team we're going to reward? No, let's reward the team that tries. Let's reward the team that goes out there and puts their neck on the line. Let's reward the team that plays their players till the end of the season rather than pull them. It's nonsensical. We're paying too much money for our tickets. We're paying too much money for our jerseys. We're paying too much, period, as fans, to invest our lives in our football teams to have that nonsense be part of the end of the year. And trust me, folks, while I'm aggravated about it because I am a Giants fan and we dropped all the way to number 5, that's not the point. I'm not saying this because I'm a Giants fan. I'm saying it because it's right. Integrity matters in sports. It should matter. Level of competition should matter. Our stars being on the field should matter. What's the problem here? Why is that hard for Roger Goodell or any NFL owner to understand? Do the coaches not preach every single week? Go out there and give me your best effort, boys. Come on, run through a brick wall for me. And now we go to the last 2 games. Fellas, run around the wall, okay? Today's not the day I want you to run through the brick wall. Could we just run around it today? Or could we just softly push into it and then fall backwards? Because that's what we do, because we have a brighter future if you do that. What? What are we doing? It's ridiculous. It's nonsensical. And it has to change, period.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm not saying you said this, but as we're trying to find a potential solution that you believe there's a problem for, the NBA totally has it wrong, because the thing that I like about the draft and why maybe I've been in love with it my entire life, I watch draft day every year, is that yesterday was a disaster. The Jets lost a 5th straight game by 23 plus points. They lost 35-8.
How did that feel?
That was painful. That was
Should be.
awful.
Because
And
you
that
root for your
sucks.
team, you care about your team. You lay your team's laundry every single day in your life. Go ahead.
Yes. But the bright light today is that we're 0-0. Like, I've been released from the shackles of the 2025 season, and there's hope. Eternal hope. The draft is hope. We have the 2nd overall pick, and maybe, just maybe, that could be a quarterback if a certain guy declares and gives us opportunities and things of that nature. If I go back to this NBA model, the fact that, like, the Mavs, and I can pull up the lottery odds, it's happened several times in the last couple of years where teams outside the top 10 suddenly, whoa, we just won the number 1 overall pick. It keeps bad teams bad and good teams or slightly mediocre teams do a slight dip, grab a pick, sweet, thanks, and then go back to the top. I like that the draft rewards the losers because that gives them a chance to fight their way back out. And Washington is the perfect example. Number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels, NFC Championship game.
We can still reward the losers without creating a situation at the end of the year that where the prevailing wind is about that losing is good.
But the problem is this, because
they've made it a situation where losing is good. Losing should never be good. In sports.
I like
please,
that.
It's Snoopy. Bull bleeping crap. You want to call me out? Let's go. We'll go at it right now. I'll get you on the damn phone lines. First of all, I don't care about what you just said here. And second of all, this is nonsense. It has nothing, zero, zippo to do with my Giants being the number 5 pick. I'm fine. I'm content. I'm okay with it. I don't like the premise. I don't like that I sat in front of the television yesterday and was like, ooh, good devil. Ooh, we should win. Oh, no, we should lose. No, we should win. No, we should.
I hate that as well.
I don't want to be that kind of fan. You don't want to be that fan. Nobody should want to be that kind of fan. Nothing to do with the Jets and the Giants. Sure, I might be a little more fired up about it because today happens to be hot off the presses and it's risen to the top of my priority. But other than that, absolutely not. I would be saying this regardless at some point in my life. I might not be saying it today, but I would be saying it at some point because it's the right thing when it comes to sports and when it comes to our fandom. You should think more highly of yourself as a fan to not let stuff like this be prevalent in sports. Teams literally going out there going, yeah, let's throw it. Let's toss it. Let's do everything we can. Let's put in every player that we can that we know can't get the job done so that we don't get the job done. Come on, man.
The problem is okay. So if we do like an NBA Cup tournament or something, that version in the NFL, the problem is the schedule is the schedule. So we don't know which teams are going to suck until we get to the ends of seasons, right? The NBA, for those who are NBA fans, they randomly, as they're putting the schedule together, say, you know what, this random game on October 4th happens to be a tournament game, and this game doesn't. And then those happen to count for the tournament standings. In the NFL, like, we're not going to know who sucks until we get to the end. And then the end, let's say the final 5 games of the Jets are incredibly difficult and they're in the top 5. And then the final 5 games for a team that also sucks with us, but they have a really easier stretch. And we say, hey, whoever gets the most wins gets the number 1 pick. The Jets are like, whoa, what the hell? We don't control the schedule. We play this murderer's row, and now you're telling me, sorry, switch flipped, you got to beat these teams if you want the number 1 pick. And then it's unlucky that the other team has 5 random opponents that are easier, and they could beat those teams to move up. Like, there's no fair, and you can't do bonus games. No NFL team is going to sign up for putting their players against extra injury games if you do a 3-game tournament or something after the season's over for the shitty loser teams, because then they won't do that for injury. So I don't know what the solution is. So even this tournament idea, which I like in theory, I don't like the conflicted voices.
You wouldn't put your team out there with a chance to go from, you're the 6th worst record. Let's say there was 6 teams in this theoretical playoff. All right.
Yeah.
To go from the 6th worst team to have it a number 1 pick if we can just win 3 games. I would
no. If I played a full 7,
you create a whole new market. You create an interesting thing. It's like basketball's trying to do with that in-season tournament. Let's make it interesting in December. Let's make it interesting for the teams at the end of the line here by making them win in order to have a better situation.
In theory, that makes sense.
Danger Zone says it would tank the playoff. No, you don't get it, buddy. You have to win the playoff.
No. Yeah, right. He doesn't understand. That doesn't make sense, but I'm saying, so you just played a 17-game season across 18 weeks, and then 3 more preseason games on top of that. So you played 20 games of your starters or not starters, and then, now there's another 3 round of games, 2 round of games, whatever you decide. I assume you want to include the top 5.
If it were a playoff game, you'd be celebrating it. It's a different kind of playoff. What's the problem? Football. You don't think football wants to make more money? You don't think they want to put people?
I'm sure they do.
You don't think they?
But why would the owners
market themselves greater? What do you mean? You put it in the bargain. You put it in the collective bargaining. You make it part of the deal. It's a package deal.
But all the owners have to ratify it. So why, if I'm the Giants, let's just say in one of the years I would have had the number 1 pick, but they say, oh, actually, we're going to do a tournament to compete for that number. I know you normally would have just got it, but actually instead we're going to have you compete for it. They'd be like, no. The teams that have no chance would hate it, and the teams that have the chance would love it.
Because the owners that have integrity would absolutely want that to be the case.
Who does?
I'll just use John Mara as an example because he wanted his Giants apparently out there winning the last 2 weeks. You don't think John Mara would be in favor of a change of this nature so that he doesn't have to send his guys out there and say, hey, lose 1 for the Gipper today, would you please? Or 2 or 3. If you could just drop the last 4 games, we could have the number 1 overall pick. It's bad for competition, Paul, to have this situation where we have tanking. We all know it exists. It definitively exists now in the NFL. Don't you want to extinguish tanking? I mean, I'm not sure that my solution is the end all be all. So let's take my solution off the table for a minute. And let me offer you a broader question.
Okay. All right.
Do you want tanking to stop in the NFL? Would you prefer there be no tanking in this league, that you wear their laundry every day and you root for your team every day? Yes or no?
Would I prefer, like tanking, like losing games on purpose to improve my draft positioning?
Yes. Do you want that out of the NFL? Yes or no? Because if you don't agree with that premise, then there's no point. Our argument is pointless.
I mean, I would like to know what the alternative is.
Any respectable fan would. Come on.
But again, but what's the alternative, though? So, okay, you say I don't.
haven't provided one yet. I'm just asking you on a big question. I can't give you an alternative yet, other than I've offered this playoff, which you say is untenable, and we're not sending our guys out there. And
because, first off, just on that tournament idea, who's paying for the money? NFL salaries are broken up by the games played, so now we have a bonus.
There's not enough money to go around in this league. Don't make it a money.
But who's paying for the 3 games? The point is like even taking a step beyond that. It's like, Paul, would you like to solve world hunger? Why? Yes, I would. Here's the plan. So what's the plan to do?
I don't think it's to that level. I mean, I may not have the best plan with the playoff, although that's my suggestion. I guess I need to get in more of a think tank here to come up with
fine. I'm open to that.
I would say we could go to some kind of ping pong balls things, but I hate the way that's really worked in the NBA because there have been too many weird situations,
upsets of massive,
weird, and they've expanded. Problem with the NBA too is they've expanded that ping pong field. Too many teams.
Lottery teams. 14 teams are in the lottery to win this thing, and the top 3 have the same percentage. Like, I don't think that math is perfected yet. I don't love where that is.
All I care about is a football fan, and I think everyone should care about this. And I don't know if you don't, why you don't. Okay, put your personal, moment aside. That if your team is the number 1 or the number 2 pick, and you've now ascended because you've lost. Okay, put that aside and just put your football fandom foot first
Okay.
and
Yeah.
tell me you don't want to watch a league where guys are literally and coaches and ownership are literally trying to lose at the end of the season. None of us want that.
Of course
So
not.
let's do something about that. Let's try to change it. Let's try to put a system in place that doesn't promote that. This way,
Yeah,
it either gets completely extinguished or at least mostly extinguished, where it's more livable. Because
yeah,
I couldn't enjoy that Giants game yesterday. Good angel, bad angel, and I didn't know what to do. All right.
sure.
I can't imagine Jet fans have enjoyed what they've seen the last 4 or 5 weeks.
No.
I mean, my God.
But I will be honest.
You enjoy that? Oh, but
On social media,
we're number 2 now. I mean, that's it. That's what you get for 5 weeks of misery. We're number 2.
I won't lie. I
Come
won't lie. One of the most exciting parts yesterday was on Twitter. People went, "Oh my God, the Cowboys have benched their starters!" Yeah, that means
No, it's right. Think about that, right? You literally had people online celebrating that Dak is out of the game, that CD's not getting any passes thrown at him, that now we've pulled Pickens. I mean,
they bent the knee.
This is pathetic. I mean, this is so. That is blatantly obvious. They have the entire offseason, the Cowboys. They're not going to the playoffs. Okay.
Right.
They have the entire. Now, I do understand teams making a decision about playing and not playing players in the final week of the season and maybe even sometimes in the last 2 weeks. But let's just keep it to the final week at this point.
Sure.
Right. Because they're going to the playoffs and their health is more important. I give you the Philadelphia Eagles. You may hate the way they went out and played yesterday. Okay. They lost to the Commanders in case you missed it. All right. But and they potentially lost the 2 seed. They did lose the 2 seed. Okay. And more home playoff games, potentially home playoff games throughout, because if Seattle gets upset, they would ascend to the top seed and would have all home playoff games other than the Super Bowl. So part of you says, why wouldn't you want that? Philly's so good at home. Go look at their record. It's amazing, especially in the playoffs in recent years. Why the heck wouldn't you want that? And the answer by the coach, which to me was a reasonable answer, was we care more about being healthy and going into this healthy than we do about our seeding and an extra home playoff game. I mean, we'd love it. And if it happened, great, but we're not going to do it with our starters. Like, that's a decision that Philly made yesterday. And I can live with that because that's not Philadelphia saying we're tossing the game today. That's Philadelphia saying we're getting ready for the playoffs. We'll put the best other guys out there that we can and let the chips fall where they may, and we'll live with it. Okay. And they will. They'll have to live with it now. And it may cost them, by the way. And Howie Roseman and his whole group might be saying in a couple of weeks, that was a dumb decision we made. We should have played our starters and we should have won that game because things could have been different. But maybe they won't be. Maybe Philly will be fine. Yada, yada, yada. That's a decision I can live with at the end of the year. But the Cowboys, who have an entire offseason, what, Dak could possibly bump his knee? CD could twist an ankle? He has the whole offseason to recover. I mean, are we really concerned about, torrential injuries happening here that are going to disable the guy for the next 2 years? When does that ever pretty much happen in football? How about never? All right? So, come on, man. Leave your guys out there and play football. What are you doing? That to me is blatant. The Cowboys aren't tanking because they're not going for the number 1 pick, but it's kind of blatant losing. It's kind of blatant, we don't care. And you don't want your league ever going out there and sending teams on the field that basically say, we don't care. Why? Why would you do that? If you're not a playoff team, it doesn't matter. So I just have an inner issue with anybody going out there and saying we're not going to win today and allowing that to benefit them. Should never benefit them if they pull that nonsense. That's how you get rid of it. You don't let it benefit them, and then they stop doing it.
Let's go to a rule suggestion by Big Al. And I'm going to be honest, Big Al, I'm just going to say this off the top. I hate this. This feels like baseball when the All-Star result was telling the World Series. No. But let's read it out to the crowd. Yep. Big Al says, so make the preseason count for something. Take the wins and losses, put them in the bank at the end of the season, and use best preseason to dictate the top picks, point differential for tiebreakers. I hate this for a lot of reasons. Preseason is not supposed to be about the starters kicking Patuki and killing it. It's supposed to be a rev up for the season. It's supposed to be for the little guy on the roster to get their chance under the lights to prove themselves to make the roster. And first off, then what would the warm-up be for this?
Before you finish, let me say this.
Yeah.
That's what it's become. Should it be that, Boy Green? You have gotten used to it being that. But should it be that?
But what would be the warm up then? So let's say this preseason is this thing that's supposed to matter. Then where are the players warming up? They're just cold
They have this thing
turkeying.
that goes on for what, 4 or 6 weeks, and then beyond that, first OTAs, then something called training camp. All of this stuff actually happens as they warm up.
That's not
I
the
see these
same
guys
game.
stretch every day. I see them banging into pads. I see them banging into each other.
Not the same.
I see them playing scrimmage games against other teams. There's plenty of warm up to be had. I don't love Al's idea here, but Al is barking up the right tree, and the right tree he's barking up at is we compete all the time. When we play games, we compete. I like the premise. I don't think I would go this route, but I love the suggestion and I love the premise because it is accomplishing what I'm asking here, which is stop the tanking.
And
It
you
sucks.
brought about prices
Football
earlier. Preseason tickets are expensive, like as anything else, and you're not getting the same product you are in the regular season, or supposed to anyway. As we've seen, week 18, there's teams that were carrying and teams that weren't. Packers rolled over, and the Vikings beat the piss out of this Packers team that didn't care about a win or loss. So, it was rampant throughout the NFL yesterday. There were games that were scintillating. Oh my God, that Ravens Pittsburgh game at the end was traumatic. Well, boo! They take the lead. They take the lead back. That was phenomenal. Then Jets get beaten with a rusty wrench by the Bills. They rolled over and died. The Dolphins rolled over and died to the New England Patriots. All kinds of scores yesterday were all over the bizarre play. So yeah, it was.
Al added to this, by the way. I think he said you could use a combination of the 3 preseason and the last 3 games. Best record of point differential, right? Loser gets the top pick. So again, he's trying to promote stronger play at the front of the season, and then more importantly, none of this tanking nonsense at the end. All right, that you get rewarded for playing hard. You get rewarded at the end of the year for winning, for competing, not for being Dallas and laying down for the Giants. That was embarrassing. That was stupid. Okay. Al invited me to that game. I could have gone down to that game. The tickets were super cheap.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
I probably didn't because the weather has just been insane up here in Central New York. I don't want to get in the car and go anywhere far and then wonder if I'm going to make it back or make it there. All right. But if I had gone to that game, just imagine, okay, Al's a diehard Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
So he goes to Giant Stadium with me, and it's probably half Cowboy fans, half Giant fans, the way that thing's been going, right?
Probably.
And he's gotta sit there with me as the Cowboys start pulling their guys in the in the early first half and in the second half. By the second half, they got all their subs in there and not a meaningful guy is playing. Meanwhile, the Giants got all their starters in there, the starting offensive line, the starting running back, obviously their future quarterback, and they're not worried at all. We're winning, baby. Just win. We're Al Davis out here. I mean, how is that for Al worth his time, his money, his effort? He's a diehard Cowboys fan. He wants to go out there and see his Cowboys compete and potentially win, not go out and lay down for my Giants, okay, because they don't want to risk injury for a team that isn't even going to the playoffs. Jerry Jones never makes any sense, which is why I hate the Cowboys, okay? But this is beyond not making sense. It's just blatant tanking. Okay, it's just we don't care about today's game. In the preseason, I don't care if you do that. All right. In the regular season, I do care. I care right to that 18th week. I care right to that 17th game. I care. I buy my stuff. I pay my money. I got my NFL ticket. Okay, I pay for you guys. Don't give me a lesser product because some team benefits by losing. It makes no sense. Zero sense.
Another thing to this tanking, or this the thing to try to prevent tanking. So let's say it includes the top 5 teams in the draft. So whoever's picking 6, so the records won't matter anymore in the grand scheme. It'll be determined based on this mini tournament. So the number 1 overall pick could have 5 or 6 wins, and then the 6th overall pick could have 4 wins, and it still wouldn't matter. Like it would be all jumbled.
I mean, again, if we're going to make it a playoff kind of thing or a play games kind of thing, you could do what college football has done in its evolution of the last, let's say, like 15 years. All right. You start perhaps with a very small playoff. Okay. I think they used to start with 2 teams. Okay. I don't know if I'd be in favor of 2. I might want to go 4. All right. And I might want to say first year we implement this. It's 4 teams. It's the top, the 4 worst teams, the teams with the 4 worst records, and they play it out. And the winner gets the number 1 pick, and the second place gets 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So you're rewarded for winning. Okay. And you make some extra revenue and you fill some stadiums because people do care about who has the number 1 overall pick.
Sure.
And you create drama around winning, not around losing and tanking. Okay. And then that is an incentive to play hard to the very end. Okay. That makes it an incentive. I don't see a world where you can go beyond the top 6. I mean, it could even be
That's
5.
what I'm saying. We're getting too
5
deep,
and you give
right,
one
yeah.
team a bye or something. I don't know. But I mean, you can't tell me that fans of these teams would not go to games, would not tune into these games to see their team go out and try to win the number 1 pick. Like, so if we did it in a competitive level that way, there may be other alternatives. Again, I haven't thought through this in deep thought, but I'm here only today to say the system is broken. The system stinks. It needs to change. The NFL cannot put a product out there. Okay, I'm repeating myself. This is the last time I'm going to say it. You can't put out a product out there that promotes losing, and that losing is a reward ever. That should never be a reward in sports, especially in professional sports where the coaches and the players and the owners, everybody gets paid. We're paying them. Who do you think pays their salary, folks? We do. We watch it on TV. Revenue comes in for TV. We buy their jerseys. We pay for their jerseys. We buy their Cokes and their hot dogs and their overpriced beers. We pay for it. We have the right to argue our case. This is not just up to the players and the owners. This is up to us. We can change it. Let's do this. Let's start a movement. Change.
All right. In conclusion,
congratulations on your number 2 pick.
woohoo! Yeah.
Losers.
Which, by the way,
Losers.
I've heard a lot of Jet fans. I brought up that Falcons thing earlier. Oh, wow, if they would have lost the game, they would have had the number 1 pick. If nuts and butts for candy, all that crap. Here's the thing that I would feel good about as a Jets fan: 4 teams finished with a 3-14 record. 4. The Jets
14 playoff. Wouldn't that be great?
out of 4.
All equally deserving. Why
Yeah,
should it
that's
come
right.
down to strength of schedule? Oh, let's look at the strength of schedule. Does anyone seriously? I study and know this stuff. Okay, I'm paid to be here, right, and to show up. Been doing this for 30 years. All right, analyzing sports. Okay, talking about sports, being a talking head. Yeah. I can't even take the time to figure out what that 538 at the top of the board means for Las Vegas. That 552 means for the Jets. All I know is, they played a little easier schedule. They played a little harder schedule. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it. Because I'm not interested in the math all that much. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a mathematician. I don't care. Just tell me who has the first pick and who has the second pick. That's all I want to know. All right. And what's the reason behind it? If I know those 2 things, I'm okay. I can move on. All right. So I don't have to mathematic it out. But isn't that pathetic that we're looking at 4 teams right here that all are 3-14? They're all equal losers. They all stink the same. Okay. When it comes to wins and losses, yet one of them has been given the top pick. One of them is good enough to be number 2, and one's good enough to be number 3. Think about that for a minute. That's what you want to side in this? Some stupid mathematical formula that says somehow, some way, in a schedule that you have no stake in setting. Okay, other people set the schedule for you every year. Yeah. That gets to decide whether, if you're just as crappy as someone else, that you pick after them. That's crazy.
Well,
that's crazy.
In this particular year, I love it because the Jets have the number 2 pick. Because if we did your guys' made-up tournament strategy, the Jets would have gotten their teeth kicked in.
As a Giants fan, if we ended up with a crappy record too, I'd be saying the same thing because we'd be up above everybody else because our schedule. Look at us. We're sitting there at 524. So if we had the same record, we'd be at the top of that pile.
Yep,
we'd be at the top. If we just won yesterday, yesterday or last week against the Raiders, we would be number 1. All because of that number.
But here's the good thing, Lurch. I told you this. So when the Giants were set to win, and you're like, geez, we're falling to 7. I said, hey, Lurch, 2 things could happen that could benefit you. Who knows if they will? If Cleveland upsets the Bengals and Washington upsets Philadelphia, instead of you falling all the way to 7, you only fall to 5. That's still top 5. That's still pretty good. And presto, the football gods bless the Giants with a little bit of a gift. I'm sure you would have preferred 1 or 2, but 5 is better than 7. So thank you to Cleveland and Washington, who you were able to leapfrog because you're the only 4-win team in football. So let's all be thankful on this merry day.
Hey, BG, we got to get out to a break here for our sponsor, Box Drop Syracuse, by the way, our sponsor today. So we'll do that very quickly. Keep in the comments, folks. We'll get to your comments here. There are lots of them, and I appreciate it. Agree, disagree with me or not. I love your comments, and I don't mind getting fiery with you. I just really, in principle, this is really not a Jets, Raiders thing. This is about sports to me. It strikes a deeper chord for me, which is, it happens to be the day when my team dropped all the way to 5, but the Giants don't need the number 1 pick this year. But the idea that I liked was that the Giants could get assets for one of those higher picks and maybe trade down and get some things. So that would be what my hope would have been for the Giants. They'll be fine at number 5, and they'll get a very, very good player. I'm very confident about it. But, it's just the way the system works, and it's not good. It's just like the umpires calling balls and strikes. They're bad. It's dumb. Don't do it. And this is different because you're promoting teams losing. to benefit. And I hate that in sports. I just hate that in sports. I lose, I move up. No. You lose, you're supposed to move down. That's the way sports win. That's the way sports works. Your losers go to the bottom. They don't go to the top. They go to the top. They go to the bottom. I know we can't do that per se in the draft. And if the best teams drafted first, we'd have dynasties forever and ever and ever. But I do think we still need to tweak the system here somehow, some way. It's not working when we get to the end of seasons, and it just feels like it's been more prevalent in recent years where teams are tanking on purpose, and we have teams pulling guys like the Cowboys did yesterday unnecessarily. That just was unnecessary. Compete to try to win the game. What do you do? I just don't get it. And they didn't even have a stake in a top pick. They're just going to move up a couple of spots, I guess. I don't know how to. Maybe you could check, Boy Green. What did that have an effect? Hey, when we come back, all right, after we hear from our friends here at Box Drop, I'd like to do this, Boy Green, because I think this is an important thing. So we've mentioned several coaches have been fired. 6 spots, all right, available right now. Falcons, Giants, Browns, Titans, Raiders, and Cardinals. Boy Green, are there any great coordinators out there that maybe the Jets or the Giants or the Bills or anybody else out there, but particular our teams, maybe could benefit from, who maybe are not our next head coach per se, but maybe our next DC or our next OC? So take a peek at that, because we have some recent firings, and I haven't vetted those coaching staffs yet. But we got some free agents out there. They're all going to be looking for jobs, Boy Green. Why not let them come to us for our jobs? Okay, so we could talk about that when we return. Again, today's broadcast is brought to you by our friends at Box Drop Syracuse, the mattress and sofa outlet where you can save 30 to 70% off your next mattress and sofa. Let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends at Box Drop, and then we'll be right back.
Considering that we sleep nearly 1/3 of our lives, buying the right mattress is essential. At Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofa Outlet, you'll get a unique experience, one that saves you 30 to 70% off retail prices on top-of-the-line mattresses like Sapphire Sleep. At Box Drop, you'll schedule a mattress fitting appointment and get one-on-one service directly with Paul, the owner. No middleman. Family-owned, huge savings, no-pressure sales designed to save you time and money. And now Box Drop Syracuse has sectional sofas and love seats as well, with prices designed to fit your budget. Box Drop Syracuse Mattress and Sofas. Set up your appointment today at boxdropsyracuse.com.
All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Again, pop the subscribe button right now if you're not already a subscriber. I see we got over 300 people in the room, so go do that right now. Become a subscriber. There it is, youtube.com/@MCShowDigital. So if you're watching us in another portal, jump on over there. You can watch us over there, and you can just click subscribe. We are just 10 subscribers away, at least at last check, and we are sending this out the door to one of our first 450 subscribers, and that is this Jets program from 1972, baby. We got Joe Namath. We got John Riggins. Boy Green holding it up right there. That is going out the door. We've just given away some cool stuff. We just gave away a Hanson Brothers autographed Slapshot movie memorabilia signed picture, and Hep already sent in his picture on that. We gave away our Bobby Mercer autographed baseball, and want to thank Joey Matesic for winning that and for sending us back a picture as well. You can go on our social media or on our YouTube channel and see those posts and see that, yes, we are actually giving these things away. I have a golf club sitting right here in the corner of my room that'll go out the door when we get to 500 subscribers. And I think, Boy Green, I keep mentioning it, but I think I'm going to do it. I'll do my bobblehead collection for $475. All right. My bobbleheads, 4 nice bobbleheads from the Anchorman. All right. Very, very cool. I got them a long time ago, but they're sitting in a box. They're not, on one of my lovely bureaus or something. So I might as well let somebody enjoy them. The only one I don't have, unfortunately, is Ron Burgundy. So you're going to have to get Ron Burgundy. I gave Ron away, but all the others are really, really cool. And it's just a neat little novelty thing. And if you love movie memorabilia, it's pretty cool. So I will give them away again out of my personal collection when we get to 475. But first, the Jets program. So again, get online right now, and at MC Show Digital is where you subscribe. Go ahead, BG.
Yeah, and a quick explanation. So again, folks, if somehow you're confused and you came here on a lot of different platforms, again, that link on your screen that says youtube.com/@MC Show Digital is where you want to subscribe. Right now, I just hit the refresh button. We're at 440 subscribers. If you're one of the next 10 people that go to that link right there on your screen and hit that subscribe button, you are in the running for this 1972 official Jets yearbook cover. That is Joe Namath and John Riggins on the cover, a couple of Hall of Famers. We will ship it out to you. We'll pick a random winner. And if you remain subscribed, so only one person, of course, is going to win this. You're like, man, I didn't win it. Don't unsubscribe. Stay subscribed, because you're eligible for every other free giveaway we do. 475 subscribers, 500, and we're going to keep doing them as we continue to grow this channel. So, folks, stop what you're doing. If you're one of the next 10 subscribers, you get that cool piece of New York Jets history. And I think we have a lot of cool content on here as well. So subscribe for the free stuff, but also if you enjoy the content, you get a little double dip of both and help us grow. And we can't wait to get to 500 subscribers. That's a first level of monetization. For those who don't know about YouTube, we could do some really cool stuff there, but we're 10 away from 450. So help us get there, baby. We're here in the new year. We'd love to get there sooner rather than later. And with an exciting draft off season, free agency, and so much more, we have a lot to get to.
Yeah, we've only been in existence here on YouTube and in the digital world for 6 months, but this show is based on a 25-year radio show right here in central New York in the greater Syracuse area, where we've covered the Jets, the Giants, and the Bills, Syracuse sports as well, and anything else that's been going on here locally. Now we've shifted over to the digital space, so we need to build up our subscribership, get more people exposed to our channel, so that again we can do more things with you and also reap some of the benefits that the digital world gives us in order to sustain the channel. So really, really appreciate it if you will subscribe at MC Show Digital, and please feel free to share it with friends, share out the platform with people so that we can grow that subscribership a lot quicker. Before we go into yeah, go ahead.
One last nugget. I just want to tell you, everybody, if you're watching on my YouTube channel right now or the MC Show Digital YouTube, it's even easier on the Boy Green one. I dropped the direct link. If you just click that link at transport, you don't have to type in anything, just boop, and then it takes you right to the MC Show Digital channel, right, and you can hit subscribe right there on your screen. Twitter, folks, you're just going to have to open up a new tab and go to a different part, whether you're on your computer, tablet, or phone, and go to that link right there on the screen, or simply search for the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Just wanted to get that out.
And by the way, our YouTube channel, you go to that link, and once you get on our homepage, you have an archive of everything that we've done in the 6 months that we've done it. So you can go back and look at all these cool old archive things. We do a lot of content with Survivor, the TV show. So if you're a fan of Survivor, you can go back and watch, our post shows from Survivor episodes. This year we'll be doing that again for season 50. You can watch long form interviews with some former castaways talking about season 50. We're going to be doing some more of that during this month of January as we get ready for season 2, which starts in late February. I think it's February 25th. Is the opening
next month
of Survivor. So we'll be right back on that train and doing live post shows, recap shows from Survivor again late at night into the wee hours with our good pal Brett LaBelle from the season Gen
Hey, we just got another subscriber. We're 9 away now from this giveaway. So hey, whoever just joined the army, you're in the running for this.
There you go, baby. You could be the winner of that cool.
Yeah.
Also, just before we go into this offensive defensive coordinators available thing, BG, just I wanted to talk to you about with these firings, because that does create openings in other places. And there are a lot of us out there, the Giants certainly, who are going to put an entire new staff together. You want to know who's out there in terms of offensive and defensive coordinators. One of the first things I thought is when I heard Raheem Morris was fired, I was like, yeah, baby, there's the DC of my new team. Get me somebody that has a relationship with Raheem Morris, because he was fantastic, won a Super Bowl championship with the Rams as its defensive coordinator. That's the kind of guy that, okay, it's not a head coach anymore. I don't know if I'm hiring him as my head coach coming out of this job, but I could hire him as my DC and pay him at a premium because he's proven to be a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. I like that kind of stuff. So there have to be more Raheem Morris types out there that these new coaches or some current coaches who need a little bit of a change, perhaps Aaron Glenn, I don't know what else he's looking for, but that staff's, I think, got to have some level of turnover for the Jets, regardless of what they do in the draft. Go look and see who's out there that can really, really help you. So definitely relationships in that world are going to help. Before we go there, though, I just want to take a moment because it was such a just an unbelievable watch. But the Steelers-Ravens game last night that decided the North. Wow. That was as entertaining a fourth quarter as anyone could ever ask. And when you think of it by the numbers, and I know a lot of you Jet fans are probably not too excited that Aaron Rodgers is now in the playoffs and that he made some big plays in this game and some unbelievable throws, because that's all you were asking for in New York, and I can't blame you. But that was entertainment at its best. And not only the thrill of victory, but dare I say, my goodness, the agony of defeat. Those two kickers, Chris Boswell has gone 90 straight before that kick. 90 straight extra points, these elongated extra points now that kickers do miss from time to time. He's got 90 straight in an environment, by the way, because remember, his home field is Pittsburgh, and some of his opponents are places like Chicago and places that are cold, okay, that have bad weather, okay? Every year, that guy is kicking probably in the 17 games that they play in 12-ish stadiums that are not pristine. Okay, that are outdoors, that have wind and snow and rain and other elements. He's kicked 90 straight extra points. before he misses that one last night, which was brutally critical because it would have put the Steelers up 3, all right,
Correct.
and would have forced the Ravens with what is about 50
A
seconds
minute
to go.
left and change.
Under a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
under a minute that was left when they got the ball, to have to score a touchdown instead of a field goal. Not an easy thing to do against that Steelers defense in that place with that building going nuts. Very, very difficult to get that done. But getting a field goal, as we know now with the new rules, gosh, it just goes into the end zone. You get it to 35. The guy dares to kick it out of bounds. You get it to 40. You need like 20 yards and you're in range for field goals now, maybe even 10 for some kickers. All right. So it's not that great a task anymore in today's NFL with the new kick return rules to get a field goal to tie a game up or to win a game. But to get a touchdown, now you got to get it all the way down there, and you obviously got to get it in the end zone, and that place gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So much more difficult. Well, Boswell goes out there, and after 90 straight, he misses one. Oh, brutal. The look on his face, the look on Tomlin's face, the look on everyone's face, like, oh, my God. Now all they need is
3 timeouts, and yeah, the Ravens had all the timeouts.
They have all day, really. 3 timeouts and, almost a minute to go. Come on. I mean, that's not even hard sledding. I mean, we saw Patrick Mahomes do it in 13 seconds? 17 seconds?
Right. It's 13.
For Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Bills fans will never forget that. It's
brutal.
13.
Okay, 13 seconds. All right. That's a little bit the abnormal, but less than a minute and 3 timeouts. That's all day. I mean, you can stop the clock 3 times plus any drops, any incompletes, anybody goes out.
Yeah, they had it at 47 seconds is when the Ravens got the ball, and also they were helped. Keaton Mitchell had a 41-yard return, which set them up.
Yeah,
even
got them all the way
so.
out. Right? They had a great return.
So,
oh my God!
Right, so that only adds to it. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unbelievable that Boswell, who's so reliable, is so good, mostly in adverse conditions. And the conditions are definitely difficult in Pittsburgh. The wind was swirling, man. You saw that kick. That extra point, Boswell said, woo! Like it was like, what was
Crazy.
that? A frisbee? I mean, it looked like a frisbee hitting an air pocket and just going in a completely different direction. Like all of a sudden, that was freaky. I was like, oh my God. Then I was like, that is a massive miss. Oh my God, this is for everything here. Now you have the chance of overtime, perhaps, if the other team can exercise their will a little bit against your defense. But now they can win with a field goal. And then, Lamar makes a couple of big plays, including that excellent throw to Likely. Great catch, great throw. I mean, just beautiful. Gets all the way down.
Yeah.
What was it kick 40-something yards? I mean, it was in the 40s, I think, So it was
the field goal kick?
Yeah, it was less than 50 yards. So, and here's the number again. This
44.
entire 44. Okay, so it's almost, what was Norwood, 42? I think it was a 46.
47, I believe, right?
It was 46 or 47, I think.
I think it was 47.
I didn't know that as a Giants fan for Bills, but it was either 46 or 47 yards. All right, so this is a by today's standard, a regular
47 yards. Yeah,
47. Okay, a regular kick, a 95%, somewhere probably, I don't know, definitely over 90. I don't know if it's 95. We could look it up. All right, percent chance you're going to make this kick. Okay, because now with that throw to Likely, and they do the one quickie where they just kneel on and put him in the middle of the field too, which is
right. Go to preferred hash marks for the kick. Yep.
Whatever the kicker wants. Sure, they quickly ask the kicker middle. You want in the middle? You want the left?
Left, right, up.
Do it. Boom. Okay, they put it right in the middle. All right. Yeah. And Loop has not missed a kick this year, the entire season. So Boswell, 90 straight, and he somehow misses an extra point. Loop, their kicker, who's a fairly new guy, right? Is this his rookie year?
He's a rookie. Yeah, he's a rookie.
Hasn't missed anything under 49. Hasn't missed a field goal under 49 the whole year. Okay. He's got a 44. This is a definite. This is, come on, middle of the field. It's a definite. And he boots it wide right. I mean, it's like worse than Norwood. It just flew. You knew immediately. Oh no! It's going in the wrong direction. What is he doing? It's supposed to go straight.
It was just devastating as I was watching it because I'm like, because they show a shot of Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. He's just like cursing himself, like, you got to be kidding me. I just had all these crazy back and forth, and it's going to end like this. And Loop lines it up, and it just does this, and my face just goes from like,
kidding me.
And then they show the jubilation cheers going, yeah. And then the defeat of like Loop gets a quick pat from the holder and then just leaves him there. And he just like looks off into the abyss. Just brutal, devastation. Man. And again, the entire game, right? The entire setup was one team is winning, hosting a playoff game, and one team's going home. So yeah, I mean, it was dramatic. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Think about it from the Ravens side of things too. This team started 1-5 and they were toast. Yep. They've incurred injuries to their starting quarterback, and he's been out for a few games at the most important time of the season, and yet Huntley has managed it well, right? And they get him back. And he actually looked pretty healthy last night, made some big throws. And they get a chance on a 44-yard field goal to win with their kicker who hasn't missed one all year from that distance. and they miss it. It's like football is nuts. Football is crazy.
Cruel.
The Steelers
Yeah.
are celebrating today, and Mike Tomlin is probably in for another season or two or whatever. I mean, come on, they're in the playoffs again. I mean, sure, they got to win one. He hasn't won many playoff games, but
Yeah, he hasn't won one since 2016.
yeah, it's been a long time. But yeah, come on, I mean, like, I don't think they're gonna fire him. I don't think they're gonna fire him regardless of what
I don't think, again, it's the same thing I said to you about Harbaugh earlier. If they decide to move on from Tomlin or Harbaugh, he's going to be traded. Someone is going to give up massive capital to get one of those two coaches. I don't think either of them gets fired. No,
probably not. If those organizations are smart, they wouldn't fire him,
which they are. Yeah,
they should talk because I agree with you. They can get something for either one of those two guys because the list will be long of teams that have availability that will want them.
Mhm.
So why not do it? But if you're going to do it, you got to do it soon because this is when teams are looking for coaches. And once you get a coach, then you're not looking for a coach anymore. So it makes it a lot more complicated unless your intention is to have them coach your team again next season. So wow. So you go from maybe Tomlin is seriously more on the hot seat or more on the trade wins with a loss there. And Harbaugh is more like, wow, this guy got us all the way back from 1-5. We made the playoffs. Has that ever happened in football? I don't think it has, or the percentage.
What's that?
I remember when they were 1-5, we were like, their percentage of making the playoffs was like 0.03%.
Oh, yeah, sure, right. And you're saying what?
I'm not sure if anybody in the history of football has started the season 1-5 and made the playoffs.
Yeah,
let's see. Not many. I mean, if it is, it's 1, 2. I mean, it can't be more than that. I mean, that's insane. I mean, when you start 1-5, you're not going to the playoffs. Now, granted, we have extra games now. We're all the way up to 17 games. But so the landscape has changed.
4 teams have started 1-5 and then made the playoffs.
4 teams. All right. So, all right. I'm a little bit exaggerated, but I mean, it's rare. I mean, that is hard.
Sure.
To do.
That's rare. I mean, 4 times is an
1-5 and then make the playoffs. And they had all right there in front of them. They did everything they needed to do except for one thing. Make a 44-yard kick. That's it. They did everything else. There were a few arguments. I heard it with the talking heads this morning that maybe they should have, they still had timeout. They still had the ball.
Get more yards. Make it closer on a Wednesday
10,
night.
Get another 10, get another 5, get another 15 yards. I mean, like, make it a total chip shot because 44 in the wind, I don't care. Loop's never missed one all season.
Right.
It can be missed. Norwood missed. It was 47.
Anything
44. Nothing's a short thing. We just saw Boswell, 90 straight. He missed a chippy. It's the point. It's a chip shot for these guys.
Sure.
So, I mean, upon seeing that, your mind has to be going, maybe we're not done yet. That was a great catch. That was a great play. We still got how many seconds? We still got, let's use our timeout. Let's plan something here. Let's get a little closer. Every yard helps. I don't know what that kick, if every yard would have helped because that thing just started veering to the right away.
Sure, right.
Maybe the kicker is over that ball with a little more confidence if he's in 15 yards closer. Because even if you push it a little right or a little left, sometimes it squeaks in there. When you're closer, the further you are, obviously, the more straight you have to hit it. So I don't know, but that was, man, you talk about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Holy crow. That was about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, I will say this. Obviously, as a Jets fan, to see your girlfriend that you dumped a couple of months ago immediately get to the playoffs at a place you haven't been in 15 years is devastating.
That sucks.
That sucks. But to be honest, trying to remove that part of it.
You want to see this guy do it,
No, right, for all those reasons. But to be honest, as a football fan, to see a Hall of Famer get another run around the sun, I don't know what's going to happen. So to see him get a playoff chance on Monday Night Football, I don't love his chances against that Houston Texans defense. But hey, it's the playoffs; anything can happen. So yeah,
and the Steelers will host that game because they won.
They will as the AFC North champion. That's correct. So they will.
Place is hard to win in. I don't care who you are. That place is hard to win in.
Of course, yeah. The Steelers haven't done it in 1,000 years. So hey now for a playoff game. But so I'm going to root for Aaron Rodgers. I want to see it. I want him to have all the success in the world. So no, when he was here,
differences with Rodgers now. You're good now.
I don't know if I am, but but still, it's just like, when he was here, I felt on top of the world. I'm like, oh my God, we have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. He's this Hall of Famer and all these things and gives you a chance. He's just captivating. There's sort of an aura that, and you talked about it before of what you thought of Aaron Rodgers, and I told you my perspective of what I thought before I knew of him. How do you not know of Aaron Rodgers? But when he's on your team and I'm listening him to podcast interviews all offseason and press conferences every week where I'm hearing from him 2 or 3 times a week, I heard more from Aaron Rodgers than I've ever heard in my life. So I just felt like I got to know him a lot more. And I just was infatuated. There's an aura. There's just something that sort of draws you in about Aaron Rodgers. He's an interesting guy. He's got wild opinions on a variety of things. So he's just captivating when he's your quarterback. You're hey, you can make fun of my brother. I can make fun of my brother, but you can't because he's my brother. So like, there's this thing that you defend him with. So, I'm intrigued to see what Aaron Rodgers does. So we'll see.
All right. So the playoffs are set.
Yes.
Let's set the table for that. And here it
Okay.
is. Okay. We'll do
All right.
both leagues. All right.
Okay.
NFC. All right. Seattle has a bye. They're the number 1 overall seed, so they will not
Correct.
play in week 1. And the matchups are as follows: Rams at Panthers, 49ers at Eagles, Packers at Bears. Ooh, you get that one, baby. You get that division rivalry right there.
Sure.
All right. And the AFC side of things, the Broncos get the bye now. They're the number 1 overall
Yep,
seed.
correct.
And you've got Texans at Steelers, Bills at Jaguars, Chargers at Patriots. Man, there's some good games there, man. This is gonna be fun.
I love a lot of the games, quite frankly, that are on there. Old rivalries, Chargers Patriots used to be Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady battles back in the day, so that's exciting. The Bills Jaguars again. If I'm Buffalo, I don't know if I love that Jaguars matchup. The Jaguars have been really good.
The Bills Road could be. Now, remember, they reseed in the NFL.
They do in the NFL. That's correct.
So you really can't just say, oh, they'll have them, and them potentially.
Yeah, it's not clear.
You
right,
can't say winner of that, and they'll have that guy. But the Bills are the 6th seed, okay?
Correct.
And obviously they will start on the road, all right, as they take on the Jaguars on the road. If the Bills beat the Jags, they're likely to play in round 2 because they're the 6th seed and they upset a higher seed. They're likely to play the Broncos, who will be coming off
correct.
And then if they manage to beat the Broncos in Denver, in that high altitude, then they're likely, if everything goes again according to plan, to get New England to finish it off.
In the AFC Championship game. Correct.
So think about that. Jags, Broncos, New England in back-to-back weeks if you're the Bills. Likely the path. Not a definitive path, but likely the path. Other teams could get upset. Things could change. But, man, that's not really all that enviable a place, even though I have a lot of faith in Josh Allen. I like the Rams' potential path a lot more. I like that the Rams are on the road to Carolina, and again,
where they lost. So,
right? And if they get upset, then they get Seattle, who there's intense familiarity with, right? Because the Rams are a lower seed, so they'd probably again likely get a top seed, all right, unless there were upsets down below, all right. And then a matchup, I don't know, with the Bears maybe, or maybe the Eagles or the 49ers. I don't know who's going to come out of that jazz. Right. But one of those teams, probably. I don't think the Packers are going anywhere. I'm a little skeptical on the Bears, but they're going to get, they're probably going to get at least one win. All right.
I would assume.
And you've got the Eagles and the 49ers. That's going to be a heck of a showdown in Philadelphia. So, wow. I mean, I like the Rams path. I don't love the Bills path as much. That's a tough road to hoe.
I mean, I'm just excited because we talked about this before, but you look at all these teams and you look at all these teams, the NFC, you look at all these teams, the AFC, there's 7 teams over here, 7 teams over here. One of these teams is going to represent the AFC. One of these teams is going to represent the NFC, and it's do or die, right? You brought up all these matchups, Chargers, Patriots. One team walks in, or 2 teams walk in, 1 team walks out. Like, it's one and done. You could have a bad day at the office and you're out. It doesn't matter if you have a 15-2 year, you get caught with your pants down and you're done. It's over. It's your finito. So I am captivated. I can't wait. Super wildcard weekend. It's going to be spectacular. 3 days of football. I can't wait.
All right, let's bang through some comments before we get out of here today. And again, while Boy Green's rallying up a few of the comments here, again, here's where we stand in terms of Black Monday, because today is Black Monday. Coaches have been fired this morning. So 6 current openings in the NFL right now. The Giants, who obviously fired Brian Dable weeks ago. The Titans, who fired Brian Callahan weeks ago. We knew about them. All right, Falcons yesterday. Raheem Morris has been sent off. Opening there. All right. The Raiders this morning. Pete Carroll, one and done. This is Pete's first season in in Las Vegas, and he's done. All right. They keep their GM, John Spytek, by the way, who'll work with Tom Brady on their next head coach. All right. And Jonathan Gannon let go as well. Oh, and I skipped Kevin Stefanski, who this morning was let go by the Browns. All right.
Correct.
And their GM is going to stay in place. The Cardinals GM, also Monty Ossenfort, will stay in place. So a bunch of them with GMs staying in place.
One last
Giants
one,
keeping their GM in place despite.
Remember, Terry Fontenot is also out in Atlanta. So just to give that one.
Right. And Fontenot, right, is out. Okay. So
Okay.
Fontenot and Morris out in Atlanta. All right. Yeah. And is there one other where the GM went to?
So the other one where the GM went was oh my god, I just had it. The Dolphins don't have their GM. So Dolphins don't have their GM.
Oh, Dolphins already let their GM go, but we don't know about their coach yet. All right.
Yeah,
so
right.
Only one combo, all right, which happened in Atlanta. Everything else is just coach. And then we have Miami. We'll see if that situation, but nothing has happened, obviously, at this point with Mike McDaniel. Nothing obviously has happened yet with John Harbaugh. If anything's going to happen there, is that going to be a trade situation? And I even rose the issue of, is Dan Quinn in any kind of trouble? I haven't heard any rumblings, but that was a pretty poor performance, pretty poor season by the Commanders. How patient will they be with Dan Quinn and his plan down? So that's where we stand right now. And in terms of draft order, if you want to throw that up one more time, Boy Green.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Draft order. All right. The Raiders, even though they won yesterday, have secured the number 1 overall spot. The Jets have jumped all the way up to number 2. They can thank the Giants for that one. Giants fall all the way to 5. Arizona's in the 3 hole. Tennessee is in the 4 hole. They had the number 1 pick, of course, this past year. Cleveland falls all the way to 6 with their win. Washington tumbles all the way to 7 with their win on the final week of the season. And you see the records of the teams right there. Look at that. The Kansas City Chiefs with the 9th pick in the draft. My goodness. All that winning that they've done, they're going to get a pretty good pick in this draft at number 9. So there you go. That's where the draft order is. And that's where the coach's situation stands, and we'll see if there's the 1 or 2 more that could be a change. I mean, we're kind of running out of spots here, but there are a couple, including, to me, that one that I'm most focused on is Miami going to make it official and say McDaniel's back, or are they still mulling a change down there, obviously, with their change at GM? Or will it take a GM before they actually make that move? Or they hire a GM and says, I don't want Mike McDaniel and I like this guy. And maybe there's a change made once they hire a GM. So we'll have to see where that goes. And by the way, Joe Shane, vote of confidence, and an official statement by the Giants this morning saying that Shane is staying as GM and he will be in on the coaching decision here for the New York Football Giants. So that's where we stand across the board. All right, let's launch into some comments here, Boy Green, before we get out of here.
Yeah, I want to throw one of these up, and this is going to be angry Boy Green here for a second. So I just want to get this off my chest. I saw this morning, and it really ruffled my feathers. So let's get to it from Frank Lau. I didn't know if I was going to get to it here on this show or a different show, so why not now? Todd McShay, who's no longer at ESPN, he does his own individual thing, Todd McShay Show. This morning, as Frank points out, he trashed the Jets, saying nobody wants to play for the Jets. And Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback, it's up in the air. He could enter the draft. He could stay in the draft. He's still alive in the college football playoffs, so we won't know that till their season's over anyway. But he advocated for Dante Moore. If
go back to school. You don't want to go.
Right. If he can't figure out, he says that Dante Moore should reach out to the Raiders. Hey, am I the number 1 pick? If so, then you stay. But if, oh, geez, I got to go to the Jets, I'm out of here. And he said, Todd McShay, that Dante Moore would want to go to 31 of the 32 teams. He'd go to any team but the Jets. The Jets, oh boy, the line draws off there. And I just have to say this, that I'm sick and tired of this narrative that, like, the Jets are the only bad team. When you pick at the top of the draft, you suck. Your record stinks. And to pretend like the Jets are the only godforsaken franchise that can't develop a quarterback is trash. What about the Raiders? The last time they used a first overall pick on a quarterback, it was Jamarcus Russell. Yet they're the factory of goodness. They just fired Pete Carroll after one season. That Raiders place looks like a freaking disaster. The Cardinals aren't disaster with everything they're doing. The whole Kyler Murray experiment. The Browns aren't a disaster. 100%. And the Browns aren't a disaster with all their crap they've got going on. But the Jets. The Jets is a terrible team. They have no quarterback, but they can't get a quarterback because they would just ruin them anyway. I just think Todd McShay needs to take a smoke break because I just don't understand the Jets get criticized. That's fine. It is what it is. They're in the New York market. It's going to happen. It is what it is. But I just don't get the constant thing that, the Jets are going to ruin a quarterback. They can't even get a quarterback. Everyone should avoid the Jets as they're some pariah. But everyone else in the league who stinks at the top of draft, they'd be okay. The Raiders would be okay. The Browns would be okay. The Cardinals would be okay. The Titans, godforsaken, would be okay. I just don't get any of that conversation. It's super annoying, to be honest. And again, to pretend like the Jets are the only terrible team in football is just beyond me. There's a lot of terrible teams in football. And I bring up this example. the Bengals have stunk forever. They did go to a Super Bowl once, they lost, or a couple of times they've lost, right? And Joe Burrow was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And there was a lot of words, boy, Joe Burrow should avoid going to Cincinnati. They stink. And Joe Burrow said, you know what? I'm just going to go to Cincinnati. He could have tried to pull an Eli Manning. He didn't. He goes to Cincinnati, and they went to a Super Bowl with him. They figured it out. What was the difference? They found a quarterback, for God's sakes. It's just that simple. You find a quarterback, and success follows. You don't find a quarterback, you continue to stink. So, Frank, thanks for bringing that up. I just don't get the constant nonsense with this. The Jets are not the only terrible team in football.
Here's one that was an interesting question. I'll throw up next to you, PG. If I can grab it here. Oh, there it goes. If the Packers get destroyed by the Bears, do you think LaFleur is at risk of losing his job? So if they perform poorly in the playoffs, could we have another coach potentially out there? What do you think of that?
One of the people I trust the most in this NFL insider business. Some people just say a lot of stuff and they're wrong all the time. One person who's right way more than they're wrong is Jay Glazer, and that's my favorite pregame show to watch every week. So an appointment viewing for me every year is the day before Black Monday. What is Jay Glazer saying? For instance, a couple years ago, Brian Flores had 2 of 3 winning seasons, and he said he's not safe. He could be fired, and no one else in the universe was saying it, but Jay Glazer said it. A lot of people gave Jay Glazer a lot of crap. The next day, Brian Flores got fired. So he just has a really good temperature. The surprising thing of his segment on NFL on Fox when he was going through the coaches, he said Matt LaFleur is not safe. It is up in the air. And I went, what? For the Packers, all the winning and everything, he's not safe? Apparently not. And they're about to have their ownership change, but they don't have an owner, so it's all public. But only someone can be in their position for so long for age. So they have one guy exiting stage left, new guy coming in. So apparently he may want to put his own imprints on the Packers. So if he shakes free, he should immediately surge to the top of everyone's wish list. Unlike Stefanski, he doesn't have these 8-win seasons sprinkled in. He has 12, 13-win seasons and playoff runs and all this other jazz. So, and he's an offensive guy. So if I'm any team in the universe, yes, Matt LaFleur apparently is totally possible to shake free, which I find stunning. But Jay Glazer has not been wrong often. So I'm going to give that a lot of credence.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, jump into anything else that you want.
I don't see this one up, but I know it was asked. I think it was Danger Zone who asked it. Yes, here it is. So I'll just throw this up. Did you talk Gannon yet? The question was, hey, coordinators, guys that shook free in certain places, could they make sense? The Jets, of course, are looking for at least a defensive coordinator right now. We'll see if they make any other changes. Aaron Glenn is supposed to stay, and I see there's an Aaron Glenn question. We'll get into that in a second. But Steve Wilkes is fired. The Jets are looking for a defensive coordinator. Jonathan Gannon was just fired by the Arizona Cardinals. He is a defensive mind that's been talked about before. Jonathan Gannon is 43 years of age. His prominence was as the defensive coordinator for the Eagles for 2 seasons in 2021, 2022. That's the only time in his career he's been a defensive coordinator, so somewhat of a limited background there from that perspective. But the thing that I like about Gannon, and the Jets just made futility with this statistic of they didn't have a single interception this entire season. First team in NFL history to have that happen, which is still bizarre to say out loud. In that 2022 season, the Eagles had 17 picks. That was the 3rd most in football on one of the defenses that he orchestrated. So I like that. The Eagles historically have had a lot of really good defenses, so his ability to create takeaways was prevalent in that final season before he got the job at the Cardinals. So yes, I would be very interested in Gannon as a defensive coordinator option. We brought him up earlier, Raheem Morris. He is from the New Jersey area, born and raised in New Jersey. So he spent his entire, impressionable adulthood as a member of the Jersey clan. His first 4 years in college were split between Hofstra and Cornell. So he had some New York college experience. So he has family in the area. So that would make a lot of sense. And he knows AG. So AG could go to someone that he knows from a defensive coordinator perspective. So I wanted to throw that one out there as well.
Badshaw asked this one. How many coaches have the Ravens had in their history? 3 is the answer to that question.
Ooh, okay.
It was Ted Marchibroda, right?
Okay.
Started off. And this is, again, you have to remember they were the Colts, and then they moved. All right.
Right. So the expansion franchise. So 95, I think, was their first season.
About for them. The answer is only 3, which is really, really remarkable.
Who's the middle one?
Brian Billick was the middle one. Billick was there for 9 years, and now John
Harbaugh was the first after Billick?
Yes, he was the first after
Billick.
Billick.
Okay.
Started
I thought there was another one in there. Okay.
Billick left in 2007. So Marchibroda for 3, Billick for 9, Harbaugh for 18 and counting.
Wow. There you go.
That is staying power to the NFL. Holy crap.
Yeah, one I would have guessed maybe he was just an assistant. I'm looking it up now to see, like, where was he, or is that all just made up in my head? Oh, he was just there forever. Marty Morningwig was one. I'm like, was he briefly? He did not. So there you go. It was not an HC there in Baltimore. Okay, very nice.
That's a very good question. Only 3. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that's a good trivia.
Steelers,
I have not thought about that.
Steelers like.
Yes. A random thing here, 16-15. People are saying the Sunday Night Football game last night. So, yes, if the Ravens make that kick, the Jets actually pick 15th overall. Their Colts pick increases a spot because the Ravens would have taken the playoff spot from the Steelers. Steelers already had 9 wins. Colts only have 8 wins. So, yes, you would have not seen Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Ex-girlfriend, I'm sure folks would have preferred that, and you would have picked higher. So it would have been a double dip situation that did not happen. But a lot of the tanking stuff did go the Jets' way, so enjoy that. I don't see where the question is, but I'll just answer it. I know it was somewhere here in the comment section. I heard a lot of fans saying, oh, boy, I hope Woody Johnson changes his mind and fires Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, it's not happening.
The Jets are not firing Aaron Glenn. And by the way, is that really what you want? You want Woody Johnson to have a change of heart? You want him to be half and half, like, oh, boy, I know I said he was safe, but you know what?
I actually think he's right.
That's 100%. Yeah. I want decisiveness. And apparently yesterday, the Judy Batista NFL Network report is Woody Johnson has not wavered and hasn't wavered in the past and did not waver when she talked to him, apparently, about what Aaron Glenn. He is 100% behind Aaron Glenn. He's all in. If you're a Jets fan, even if you hate Aaron Glenn, isn't that what you want to hear? That he has conviction? He's not being wishy-washy. He's all in on his guy. He's backing his guy. If he's like, well, maybe he's the guy, and then gets fired 5 weeks into next season, that's not what you want to see as a Jets fan. You want to see him committed. So whether you like AG or not, I think conviction is the right decision.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna scroll into your BG. See,
right.
Touch on today.
Let's show this one up. Incel Alon says Arizona was a surprise. Maybe Kyler staying. Totally don't get that vibe from all the insider reports. No, Kyler's expected to be cut ahead of free agency. There may be an outside shot at a trade with a potential team like the Jets. The Jets were named by ESPN as a likely trade destination for Kyler because the Cardinals are screwed. If they cut him, they eat a bunch of money. So a team could be a knight in shining armor and show up and pay like a penny of the cajillion dollars they owe him. And that's one less penny the Cardinals have to pay. So maybe they'd be intrigued by that and get some late draft capital. My gut says Kyler is definitely gone. I don't think the Gannon thing changes that.
Let's see.
So, yeah, we got a ton of comments in here, which is great. Let's see. People didn't like all your guys' ideas earlier, saying it's a cute idea, but it'll never happen with the tanking stuff. But I'm all open to conversation.
Yeah. So. I just think there needs to be a conversation about competition at the end of the year because I don't think we want to follow a league as fans where we're losing rewards teams. I just that's never a good idea in any sport, and especially professional sports where money is part of the equation. It doesn't make any sense to have that. You may not be able to completely snuff it out, but you have to attempt to, and you have to try to minimize it. And it just doesn't it feel like in recent years, it's just been more prevalent? It kind of seems like it's getting uglier and uglier. Maybe that's just because our two teams stink and we're always running and we're always talking about it. But, when we had better days, dare I say, you weren't even in that conversation. I'm sure people in other places like Kansas City could care less,
Sure.
Yeah, you'll get the number one pick. You'll still stink. You still have a bad organization. And there's some truth to that too. I mean, the end all be all isn't having the top picks. It's about choosing the best players.
The right players, right.
And it just seems like in the better organizations choose more wisely than others.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. I mean, you have to have competent people running the ship, or it really doesn't matter where the pick is. You're going to make the wrong pick.
Yeah. Rico the Pup says he gave another defensive coordinator choice. He's talking about Jim Schwartz of the Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski fired. A lot of members of the staff are likely shake free. I like Schwartz a lot. Former head coach. He won a Super Bowl as the DC for the Eagles in 2017. So Schwartz is a mastermind of a defensive guy. It's very hard unless the Browns move quickly, like they know who they're replacing Stefanski with. It's very hard to retain guys like a Schwartz or anyone for that matter because they're hanging in the wind. Why would they just wait around for Cleveland to hire a guy and hope that they mesh? Schwartz and all these other assistants I imagine are going to immediately start looking for other work. So that's the advantage for the Jets is before these coaching, we have how many coaching vacancies? 6 right now, Large?
Yes.
Yeah. So when these people hire head coaches, they're going to start trying to put their staffs together immediately. The advantage for a Jets is your head coach is not changing, so he can hire a defense coordinator right now. So hopefully he quickly puts these interviews together and gets very aggressive about this process. That's what I would do if I was AG. Take advantage of this window because you're about to have a lot of competition when staffs start getting put together. So that's what I would do if I was AG.
You know, I wonder. I mean, you talk about these retread guys. I mean, I love the mind of Schwartz as a defensive coordinator. He only got one swing as a head coach. It was
Correct,
with
the
the
Lions
Lions.
back
He got
in the
4
day,
years
yeah.
with the Lions from 2009 to 2013. It didn't go well. I don't have the record in front of me, but it didn't go well.
Right.
But since then, and this is a 59-year-old guy, so he's not an old
Yeah.
geezer. Okay, he's
Sure.
59. He's been, listen to the places he's been. All right, this is his
Sure.
whole career. I mean, there's a lot to list here, but this guy's been in the game since 1989. Okay,
Yeah.
he was a GA, graduate assistant at Maryland in 1989,
Mhm.
and a GA at Minnesota in 1990. North Carolina Central as a secondary coach in 1991. Colgate, believe it or not, right here in Central New York,
Oh, wow.
in 1992 as a linebackers coach. Then he went to the NFL. Personnel scout in 93 for 2 years with the Cleveland Browns. Outside linebackers coach for the Ravens from 96 to 98. Tennessee Titans as defensive assistant in 99. Tennessee Titans as linebackers coach in 2000. Tennessee Titans as defensive coordinator from 01 to 08. So now he's stepped up into the coordinator role, all right, moving his way up. He gets the opportunity coming out of that job to coach the Detroit Lions, does that for 4 years. It fails. Then heads to the Buffalo Bills as their DC in 14. The Eagles as their DC from 16 to 20. The Titans as their senior defensive assistant from 21 to 22. And then the Browns currently as their DC from 2023 to now probably an available guy. Is he a guy, Boy Green, worth at least an interview, a look here as a head coach? He's only had one swing. The Giants are looking for a defensive guy for sure. It feels that way. The Giants are going to hire somebody essentially in the, he's not going to be obviously from the tree of Bill Parcells, but in the ilk of a Bill Parcells, a guy who obviously had tremendous success as the Giants head coach. I say, why not Jim Schwartz? I would want to talk to Jim Schwartz, I think, before I'd want to talk to Kevin Stefanski. And that's just my opinion, but I just think I would.
Yeah, to me, so let me see. So Schwartz is 59. Let me
how
see.
different is that than, say, hiring Lou Anarumo, who's never been a head coach, okay? Who also has a great defensive mind. This guy has actually had 4 years of experience in the job.
Yeah, so I'm going to put these guys in the same bucket. It's someone you know very well. I'm going to put Spags and Schwartz here in the same bucket.
Okay.
Spags is a few years older. He's 66. In his younger days, 15-ish years ago, he got his first opportunity to be a head coach for the St. Louis Rams, and they were terrible. And no, I know I said St. Louis Rams. That was before they were the LA Rams, and they were god-awful. Spags was terrible. The team was terrible, so blame whoever you want. He never got another shot, and then he's just been a defensive coordinator forever. And while he's interviewed a few times, he interviewed for the Jets job last year and a few other jobs, it just seems like at his age, unfortunately, ageist, he's just not going to get another chance. And it passed him by, and now he could just try to be the best defensive coordinator he wants to be until he hangs him up. Schwartz, while younger, again, he's got like a 7-year age gap on Spags. It sort of feels the same. That head coaching tenure went so terrible in Detroit that like he's sort of been labeled. He's sort of been thrown into a box about what he can be as an HC. So maybe he gets interviews, but I just feel like his calling in life is being an awesome defensive coordinator, and there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes you learn in this business, whether you're an NFL head coach or not. We bring up Raheem Morris. He's been an NFL head coach twice. He's had 6 seasons of head coaching. 5 of his 6 have been losing seasons. So unfortunately for Raheem, I think he has found out the hard way. And good for him. He's got a lot of money, and being a head coach in 2 places, good for him. He's had a long NFL career. No shame in this game, and he's won 2 Super Bowl rings as an assistant. If I'm Raheem Morris, boy, I guess I'm not a head coach, but being a defensive coordinator is very rewarding. So I'd be surprised if Schwartz got a head coaching job, to be honest with you, but yeah. I think he's a really good guy.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'd love him as a DC, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I mean, like, with who's out there, with what the Giants seem to be putting out there in terms of what they're looking for, I think he's worth an interview. I mean, as a head guy. I mean, he's got tons of experience. He's coached some phenomenal defenses. I mean, you heard that list of teams, but he's coached some really, really good defenses over the years, and obviously got a head coaching job out of a really good job with the defense that got him that chance. Didn't go well. I mean, but look, I mean, the Lions, I mean, what Dan Campbell has done with the Lions, I mean, I know they're not even in the playoffs this year, but what he's been able to do and really the wide berth that they've given him, because it did not start well with Campbell, but they just decided that
It
this
did
guy,
not.
he's got something, he's wired a little differently. I even, I don't know if it's really the long-term answer, but I even kind of admire Campbell after losing, obviously, a guy that's a terrific OC in Ben Johnson, all right, to a head coaching job, that he decided, what was it, about halfway through the season or a little more than halfway through, that, his new OC wasn't up to the task.
Yeah.
And so he became the play caller, and that has been growing pains. It has not been a perfect world for Dan Campbell as the play caller, kind of running the offense on top of having head coaching duties. And maybe he will find somebody else that could take that over so that, again, he can go back to being the CEO, which I always think is the wiser choice. But I just love his ambition, and I love that he continues to try to put his own stamp on this program. And whether or not, or I should say this franchise, whether or not Detroit ever wins one, I still think in the annals of history, Dan Campbell will have had an impact on Detroit. All right. Now, I would love to see them get there and win one, and I know that's the goal, and he certainly hasn't given up on that by any means. They took a little bit of a step back this year, but the fact of the matter is that he is a coach who is leaving an indelible impression on those fans, on that town, on the whole idea of they were just consummate losers, and now they actually see that they can win. There is the possibility exists. So he's still got to take it a little bit further, I think, to maybe be labeled an all-time great or something like that. But I do think in Detroit, by Detroit terms, he's a kind of already an all-time great. I mean, like Wayne Fontes was like an all-time great there. I mean, think about that for a minute. Wayne Fontes is that's how bad it's been in Detroit. I'm sure you can relate to Jets fan, Boy Green.
Well, yes, right.
So, like we all measure our greatness differently, some measure the greatness of an Andy Reid and winning multiple Super Bowls, or a Don Shula and the longevity, or a Tom Landry and the Super Bowls and the longevity. But some franchises like Detroit measure it in, wow, that guy made his mark. Man, that guy made an impression. Hey, that guy had us winning for a while, and sometimes that's all it takes. So it's kind of funny how we as fans, depending on what franchise we root for, have different standards in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, let's go to some questions here. Badshaw says, you think Peter, he must know I'm on a special level, Peter Carroll gets a new head coaching job at the end of the week? No, I think it's more likely, quite frankly, if Pete retires, he got a chance. I thought it made sense. He could be a steward of sorts. He wasn't going to be the long-term coach, but to sort of help transition from the mediocrity to somewhat respectable, the fundamentals of what Pete Carroll is, and then hand that off to some younger guy. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. I want to throw a surprise name, Lurch.
I'll tell you, by the way, before you move on,
go ahead.
Pete Carroll could potentially, even at his age, believe it or not, college, like he was so good down there. His always programs right now, there are programs.
He is youthful.
If he wanted to be an HC again, okay.
NIL.
I know who wants to do that right at his age. I don't disagree, but if he wanted to be a head coach again, now in the very near future, I agree with you. Unless there was a franchise out there that wanted a steward and it didn't work in Vegas, not that it couldn't work somewhere else, but it didn't work there. I don't really see it. Anybody that's looking for long-term is not going to look at Pete Carroll. I think he's the oldest coach in the NFL currently.
He's the oldest coach in NFL history.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, he's breaking, and which is, he's still he has such youthful exuberance, and I love
100%. Good for him. Yeah.
But I don't know if there's going to be another opportunity as a head coach in the NFL, but the college they always go running for guys that have had success. And he's proven to be a great recruiter. He has coached Heisman Trophy winners. There's a lot of pedigree there. Guys always take an old guy like that. Look, Bill Belichick's in college for right now, for crying out loud. I mean, just think about that for a minute. Okay, go on, PG. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, a surprise name has entered the pool of head coaching, Lurch, and maybe you want to put this on your list. I haven't heard him on your list. Okay. Philip Rivers. According to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, Philip Rivers, has emerged all over coaching NFL teams that have been putting coaching lists together. They've put him on it, and Philip just spoke seconds ago, because we're doing all these exit meetings across the NFL, and says, I'm totally open to it. So, yeah, if people want to talk, I won't shut that down.
I mean, I think I could see a team legitimately looking at Rivers and hire him as an OC. I could see that. Head coach. Now, come on now. No,
which apparently is that what they're talking about, head coach. Yeah.
He could, I know, but that's, to me, that's unrealistic. To me, hire him as an OC if you really believe in him. Certainly knows how to work with quarterbacks. He certainly is a guy that is going to teach a quarterback how to have command of the huddle, command at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he was doing that at his age this
Sure.
year, right? 44, was he? 44?
He is 44. Yep.
44. Remarkable. But and I don't blame him. But now OC, and then if he succeeded at OC, if he gets in some franchise and their offense does what Ben Johnson's offense did in Chicago or something like that, and or Detroit, I should say, then okay, now he might be a legitimate head coach candidate. But I don't think he can go from coaching a high school team and on the couch essentially to starting quarterback for a couple of games because the team is so desperate that they have nobody, to now head coach in the NFL. I mean, that is
what a journey. That's
fantastic. I mean, good for
it's
him.
a Hollywood script.
He could convince somebody that he's worthy of those kind of jumps. I mean,
yeah.
But he's a great guy. I mean, he's a guy I'd love to have in my organization in some way, shape, or
Sure.
form. I like his moxie.
Yeah, good comment here. I'd like to see Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl. We'll see if that's true, Frank Lau. Lurch, would you like to apologize in your NFL picks?
No.
You said Sammy's going to be Sammy. I don't trust him.
He didn't turn it over.
Blah,
But
blah.
what did he do?
And
The defense won that game. He didn't really do much.
Oh, come on, Lurch. Give him some respect. He clinched the number one seed for the NFC.
Okay, let me go. All right, I'm gonna go get his numbers. Okay, from that
Please
game.
do.
I think I don't even think. I don't want to say it. I might be wrong. I peeked at the box yesterday because I was curious.
People could say it a lot of different ways, Lurch. I'm sorry.
No,
I apologize.
Yeah, he passed for under 200 yards yesterday. You want me to be excited about that? 198 yards Saturday. Thank you. 198 yards passing, 0 touchdowns.
That's all he needed.
0 touchdowns. Okay, fine. They scored 13 points. Okay, they scored 13 points.
That's all
against
that was
a
required.
Horrific defense. The 49ers, among the worst defenses in football. He scored 13 points and threw under 200 yards. Okay, he's your guy. He's going to the Super Bowl. He's going. He's taking us to the Super Bowl.
So you think the Seahawks are going to go one and done?
If Seattle gets to the Super Bowl, if Seattle wins, they will do it primarily in the back of their defense. And probably a few big plays by JSN. I think that's what it'll be.
Which, who throws the ball to JSN? Who's that? Oh,
I will tell you right now that one of my candidates to go out early, now they get a bye. So what is early? When you get a bye, you're not even playing until the second week of the playoffs, is Seattle. I do.
What?
I just don't believe them.
So you think they're going one and done?
Could be. Depends on who their opponent is, but could be. Yes.
In Seattle, I don't know.
I know. It's a tough place to play, too. That's a very, very good, strong home field. But I really don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. The bye helps them greatly because they only have to win 2 to get there.
Of course, that's correct.
And
it runs through them. It's all home games.
And you get a good matchup in this first one, and now you really only got to win 1. And, so all they got to do is win 1 big game. But I just don't trust. I told you before going into this weekend, I have the arc of this season and all of last season, the playoffs of last season, I should really say, have at this point convinced me that Sam is just not up for the big moment. And I just don't trust him. I would rather trust other guys. Now, I have to admit, oh my goodness. I mean, what San Francisco did offensively in that game. Now, I know Seattle has a good defense, but wow.
They have a great defense.
I expected a lot more out of Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy in that game. That was not good. That was not good offense. So all the rose petals that I've been throwing all year at San Francisco for, wow, look at how dynamic an offense they are. Wow, did they lay an egg in that game? Now, Seattle's defense is part of that. They're really good.
Of course, they're spectacular.
But that was a bad offensive performance by San Francisco, who usually puts out very good offensive performances. And 13 points on that porous defense is not good. It's not good. So now I'm still off the Sam train. I mean, I wish him well. I mean, but I look at the guy and, for me, how I am. It's the look test for me. I watch the guy play and that's where, of course, I look at the numbers. I care about the numbers, but I look at the guy play and I say, is this guy showing me the things that champions are made of? Is this guy at the end of a game the guy that I want with the ball? And every time I look at Sam Darnold, I go, no. Is there any way to give it to somebody else? Is there any way that the defense could be on the field instead of the offense? And that's not the case with, say, Josh Allen, who, put him out there. Patrick Mahomes. I know I'm talking about the best quarterbacks in the game, but
sure.
Joe Montana, if we want to go back to all-time greats, he's not that guy right now. Now, can he get it done? Can they still win? Yeah, they're proving it. I just think that the rope is awful short when they're winning the way they're winning every week. The playoffs are a dangerous place to be winning by the skin of your teeth. Sometimes you got to bring it. You got to really show another team what you got. And I don't know if he can. So Rooting for him, but don't believe in him. That's just the way it is for Sam Darnold to me right now. I hope he proves me wrong. I'm not right about everything.
All right, and then this will be my final comment that I highlight, and then I'm good. Is Big Al saying Mike McCarthy is lying in wait? He took a year off. People thought he could have had the Saints job if he wanted it last year. He did not. That ends up going to Kellen Moore. That was the last job to be filled right around the Super Bowl. So Mike McCarthy could get one of these vacancies.
I don't want Mike McCarthy on the Giants, and it has nothing to do with what Mike McCarthy is capable of. It's just, I mean, I think it's an intrinsic thing as a Giants fan that I don't want a fired Dallas Cowboy coach. Like, I don't want a guy that was last coaching our nemesis, one of our arch enemies, and was let go.
But didn't his contract expire? Was he fired?
Yeah, but he was fine. I mean, come on. Yeah, all right. He wasn't renewed. I mean,
right. Well,
next time you have a job, Boy Green, and they say, we're not going to renew you next year. You tell me how that feels. Oh, they just didn't renew me. I wasn't fired. Years ago, I was laid off from my job. Okay, it was a corporate downsizing and a layoff. Boy Green, for all intents and purposes, they all said it on the way out the door. We love you, and you did a great job, and you did everything we asked, and you were terrific, phenomenal. But tomorrow you stop getting paychecks. That's a firing.
Large.
You can call it whatever you want. That's someone making a decision that you're not worth it anymore. So
let me ask you something.
Lots of people in our audience have been there and done that. Okay. It's a firing. McCarthy was fired. He's done. Okay, I don't want him as a Giants retread. No.
Let me ask you a couple of quick questions here. First off, the Manchild Show at Boy Green Digital. Do you think one of the pillars of the show is integrity? Would you say that?
Yes, I would.
Okay, well, then I think you need to be honest of the reason you don't want to hire Mike McCarthy. And I think it's you're not willing to host him over for a slumber party and you guys all get your PJs. You're willing to push it over the top to see if you're willing to do it. That's what I think the issue is.
I would love to do that with Mike McCarthy. I would invite him over to my house tomorrow if you want to do a PJ party.
Yeah.
I'm redoing the guest room as we speak. So
okay, there you go. Mike.
A nice bundle bed all set for a man, roll it out.
Which, by the way,
fantastic.
Why we didn't mention it, but glad the sign's back, Lurch. There you go.
Yes,
sign is back.
Thank my sister Michelle from New York City who got that thing. You should have seen how she wrapped up the sign. The sign has a little kind of carrying case that I can because it's a portable sign. But I left it in New York City while I was down for the holidays. Realized it before I even was fully out of New York. I was about halfway out. I was still in Queens, but now an hour and 15 minutes from my mom's when I realized, I got a text from someone at my house saying, is this yours? I'm like, oh, no, of all the things to leave behind. So my sister wrapped it up in like some makeshift Kohl's box that had no business fitting around this long, flat thing that the sign is when it's retracted. But she did it, and it got here. And I literally was out on the driveway shoveling, because that's all we do in central New York these days is go out every day and shovel, except for Boy Green, who has someone shoveling his place. I have to go out and shovel and snowplow mine every single day, and it's happened every day for the last month and a half. And I was out there shoveling snow, and here comes the UPS truck, and he pulls up, and he's got this long thing in his hands, and I see it. It's this dilapidated Kohl's box that my sister sent me a picture of before she sent it off, and it's like wrapped up in tape like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have to shape it around this thing just to try to protect it and put some bubble wrap in there. So my sister did a great job, but it looked so cockamamie. And this guy's got it in his hand, and he's looking at my next door neighbor's house. He's trying to figure out which address because the snow's flying. You can't even see addresses. The snow is just
covered. Right. Yeah, it's broken.
He's like, which house is it? And I spot him and I see it and I go, hey, that's me. And so he starts coming over towards me. He's like, how the heck do you know? And I was like, because my sister wrapped up that thing. It's my sign from New York City. I could spot that thing from a mile away. And he just giggled. I said, yeah, just throw it up there on the porch and I'll get it later. Thanks. And he just threw it over there and onward and upward. But I could spot that thing from a mile away. So thanks to my sister Michelle who did all that for me.
So yeah, let's do this for her. Come on now.
Fair enough. So the sign is back. Yep, the sign is back. And still a lot of stuff going on here in my home studio. Continue to kind of remodel and refabricate the place. I have some when we were used to be in the radio station and we had our room that we were in kind of had like padded walls,
Sure, yeah. Noise cancellation, yeah.
So that, literally when the studio door was closed, it was like
yeah, right.
Then you just have that.
Yep.
And it was like no echo. Like so when you and I talked to each other in the studio, it was like just our voice and then nothing. Nothing for sound to bounce off on. So one of the things I actually asked for Christmas was for some sound deadening panels, we call them, or whatever.
Okay.
Remember those
Yep.
triangular looking
Spiky,
things?
yeah, right.
So I got a whole bevy of them coming in the next week
Excellent.
or two.
Can't wait.
And so
Great.
the whole wall that kind of sits in front of me, the direction that I talk, is going to be all, dare I say, audioed up for better
Is that going to improve your takes on the Giants, or does that have no
Probably
effect
not.
there?
Probably
No.
not. It looks like I drew a lot of hate from some people out there
You
today.
definitely did. Very
listen,
much so in the
Again,
comments.
I say this in all sincerity. I know there are just cynical people out there, and I'm never going to change the cynical people's point of view. And their cynical view is going to be, oh, he's just a jealous Giants fan, and he wouldn't have said this if this didn't happen and that didn't happen. I'm telling you
here's
right
the
now,
context, Lurch, real quick. There was just a lot of noise on social media when the Giants were in the position where they were ahead of the Jets. And there's all these conversations
of course
about.
I was thrilled about it. I was thrilled at the idea that we could get assets from the Jets or anyone. I mean, that doesn't have to be the Jets. Frankly, I'd rather trade with someone who's further down the draft. Let's say someone in a 7 hole or the 10 hole or the 12 hole. There's like, I desperately want Mendoza, man, and you got my ticket. Let's go. All right. So I would way rather trade with 12. It wasn't about fleecing the Jets. It was about fleecing anybody in order to draw more assets and hopefully that my team gets better. So I won't deny that, but that's
but there was a lot of people on social media.
All of our teams to be better. Yes, go ahead.
Sure, but the people on social media, there's Giant enthusiasts, Giants influencers that had a lot of say and have some gravitas in the social media space that were saying, hey, Jets, we want 5,000 first-round picks in your firstborn son to get this pick. And there's like an arrogance to it. And Jet fans are sort of getting annoyed. Like, come on, let's be a little bit more realistic with the package. And now it's flipped. So Jet fans are like, Giant fans, now look at where you sit after all that bull crap you were talking about last.
Please don't do this, though. Like, this is that great generalization that happens. Okay. So there's some arsehole Giant fans out there. Okay. Arrogant, entitled, whatever you want to call it. Sure. Okay. We've won our share of championships. We have 4. I think we have 4. All right.
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, we're not at the top, right? 7, I think, is the Patriots have 7 or 8.
Well, they have 6, and Tom Brady has 7 because he had 6.
Right. Brady has 7.
With Tampa Bay. Yes.
So 6 is the leader, right? I think it's the Patriots.
That's correct. And the Steelers.
Steelers have 6 also.
Okay. Steelers have 6.
It changes from time to time. I used to know it by heart. Okay. So, we have 4.
Giants have 4. Yes.
Nice. And the last one we had was 2011, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, that's a while ago, but it's not an eternity. We're not starving. It's been 1969 since our team's won. So come on.
That's true.
I understand.
You've won all 4.
Starving. Okay. You're hungry. You're starving.
You've won all 4 of yours since I've won my last one.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So, I'm not naive to that, but there are idiots out there that are Giants fans that wear the same colors that I wear and say idiotic things. We're not all like that. Don't categorize me or other people that wear the uniform as being arrogant jerks. I disagree. I know. Listen, people are going to be people, and certainly I probably wouldn't be talking about this with the same passion that I talked about it with today in terms of there needs to be more integrity in football when it comes to the end of the season. It's a hot topic for me right now because it's hot off the presses. My team could have had the number 1 pick and we ended up with number 5, and it's fine. But no, that's really, it may be the reason why it came to the table today and maybe came with some passion, but I stand behind it today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, regardless of what happens going forward. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sports should not reward losing. We should not reward losing. We should not promote that teams are better off if they lose. No sport, okay, especially professional sports, should promote that. So that is the soapbox that I stand on today. Okay. Giants, Jets, doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, fine. Label me. Go ahead. Say it's because of. No, I'll admit I'm probably hot on the topic today because of what has happened to the Giants in recent days, but I'm hot on the topic, period. Just like for 15 years, I was hot on the topic of electronic strike zone in baseball, and I still am. Okay. And I don't even think that the challenge system is going to work very well. So you're going to continue if you tune in during baseball. You can hear me rant and rave about it because if you get me wound up, I will go crazy. But I've been going crazy for 15 years. I'm telling you, I've felt this for a while. Today, it has brought it to the top. But I am not going to suddenly now, oh, my Giants win the Super Bowl next year. Oh, I no longer talk about it. No, I'll be talking about it for the next 15 years plus, or until the NFL does something about it, because it's bad for the sport. Period. End of story. So label me if you want, but you're wrong to label me. And please don't put me in a pot with other Giant fans who you may not agree with, okay? At least judge me for who I am before you give me a label. Okay?
Fair enough.
Get it. It's fine. Agree to disagree. But that's probably why I brought it to the table today. But the feeling and the sentiment has existed for a long time, and I just don't like it. And I hated it in the NBA too. I could go back and pull you tape from radio shows where I talked about how awful it was in the NBA, and they needed to do something about it. And then they started those ping pong balls, and that goes back a long way. We've been doing ping pong balls for quite a while. All right. And I was like, this ping pong ball thing was a good idea, but I'm not sure that it's really working great, you know? So again, it continues to ebb and flow, and I still have problems with the way the NBA does it, because I don't think the ping pong balls are all that fair. So I don't know what the ultimate answer is, but leaving it like this is probably not the best solution. All right. You need to minimize tanking, period, in sports. And in order to do that, this system is promoting it. And I think, to me, it feels like a disease that's growing rather than a disease that's waning. I'd rather see it waning. It's never you can never have perfection.
Definitely not. But just to explain the Snoopy anger, I think that's where a lot of it came from, because I was in there on social media and seeing a lot of it. And I think he's projecting on you because you're wearing the blue. Right. It's a bull seeing red. Hey, there's another one of those giant fellas.
It's not true. It's just not true. I will always stand very, very strongly behind my convictions when I have them, and where they come from. And I just don't. I'm not that kind of host. I'm not a hot take host. Sure, of course, doing this as many days as we do it, literally record something or put out something live every single day, pretty much. You're going to have hot takes. You're going to have things that that you're passionate about and that stir it up for you. But that's not the career that I've built over 30 years in the media. Is not built on that. It's built on things that I actually really feel passionate about, regardless of my color that I'm wearing today or the color I'm wearing tomorrow. It's not where it comes from. And in this case, it's not where it comes from. It's hot off the presses because of it, but it's not where it comes from truly. It's in its essence. Like the Mets, I'm sure, were robbed by calls over the years, but it's not like because I was fuming about the bad calls that umpires made on the Mets that drove me to say this is awful. It drove me awful because I saw it rampantly, and I'm seeing it rampantly in the NFL. Who wants to see the Cowboys pull their guys like they pulled them? It just doesn't make any sense. And the Cowboys weren't even going for a number one pick. It's bad for the game. It's just bad for the game. That's where I'm standing on this. Okay, that was a long one, but well worth it. And we'll keep you posted, folks, on any other developments here in terms of Black Monday events. Is Mike McDaniel still safe? Is John Harbaugh going to be trade bait, perhaps, now that there's a situation there with no playoffs for the Ravens and perhaps a little bit of an eroding relationship? Did you hear what Lamar said, by the way?
I did.
He asked the question about Harbaugh. Like, talk about a non-answer. Holy crow. I mean, he could have said, I love my coach, but, I'm not ready to talk about this now. But instead, he gave it a real, and to me, Harbaugh's a guy that has supported Lamar and given, I think, a lot of what he wants. So that, to me, was a telltale.
Well, I think context is important. Did you read a quote or did you see the video?
I did see it in video, but it was probably a clipped video. It was a soundbite versus seeing the entire answer.
Right.
Perhaps. So go ahead, give me some context if there is some context. Two things bothered me that I heard yesterday in the post-game situations. All right, one I don't think was out of context, and that was the two Cincinnati guys, Zach Taylor, right, who's keeping his job, we heard this morning. All right. And Jamar Chase, all right, his star wide receiver and arguably next to Joe Burrow.
I missed this, so I don't know what.
Two of them absolutely blasted the officials and those in charge for stopping the game when Myles Garrett got the sack. And they talked about it like, it ruined us and we were fighting for us. Zach Taylor said, we were fighting for our lives, and they stopped the game for this guy in this event. We weren't told of that. And why would they do that? Oh, we had momentum. He said some ridiculous things. I was like, dude, time, place, and circumstance.
They have literally done that for every milestone.
Chase in the locker room, and he doubled down. Chase doubled down on his coach's comments. It was like, yeah, that was ridiculous. So go listen to it. It's awful. That is two terrible, terrible takes by the.
And by the way, this has happened forever. Like
Last-
Drew Brees, when he
Come on.
broke, I'm trying to remember which stat because he broke so many records, but they were on Monday Night Football and they were in the Superdome, and he threw like his 500 touchdown pass. Or it wasn't a touchdown because that would have innately created breaks in action. It was like his 1,000th completion or 70,000 yards or whatever, and he did it. And they put the graphic up on the screen. The officials did an official stoppage. Drew Brees is hugging people, football, and like it's just commonplace. It's commonplace when it's this historic event. It's not commonplace every first down you do a whole thing, but when it's seismic moments like breaking the single season sack record, that's come on, man. So
and
you
Chase
disagreed with
like,
that?
What are they going to give me a thing when I make my 10th catch? Or so he said some sarcastic thing. I was like, dude,
that's
this guy made history. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean,
like record-breaking history. Like this is significant. So you
said
that one you had a problem with,
and you don't
and
like
then this
them,
Lamar
yada
thing?
yada. But come on, time, place, and circumstance, and you're playing for nothing. You're playing for nothing.
Right.
This isn't like you're driving down the field and it's the play. You're fighting for a playoff spot. Have you looked at your record recently? Jesus.
And you sound like a sore loser, losing to Cleveland on a last-second field goal for all this to come out. So, okay, you had a problem with that, and I'm guessing this Lamar thing?
Yes, and then I just didn't, again, now maybe I didn't, I saw a snippet, so I hate when I only see snippets and don't get everything, but Lamar just didn't really give a vote of confidence to John Harbaugh, but rather just kind of said, I'm not ready to. We just lost, man. Like I'm still processing. I can't even talk about the future or anything.
Yeah, so I don't know how long the video clip was.
Go ahead.
All I can say is this: is that in Lamar and this reporter I'm about to bring up have a history of clashing and not having a relationship. That is Jameson Hensley, who covers the Baltimore
Maybe he didn't want to
for
answer the question
ESPN.
for him.
Maybe but the question was basically asked, "Hey, like, do you want Harbaugh back next year?" Which is essentially the blunt question to Lamar, and Lamar's like, "I'm in shock right now. Like I don't even know how to answer any future questions right now about me, Harbaugh, or anybody. We just lost. I don't know how we lost. I thought we were going to win on the field goal, blah, blah, blah." And then like at the end of his answer, he reiterated to the reporter, "Hey man, I'm not saying anything about futures or not. Like my non-answer is not saying anything. I'm just right now, I'm in a state of shock. Ask me next week or something. Right now, it's hard to answer."
I get it, but still, you're going to get asked it because it's been out there for weeks. Okay, that he could be on if they don't make the playoffs. He could be on shaky ground.
But what is Lamar going to say? What is he going to say? Like, of course, I want him back, and then that's the answer.
That's not my decision to make, but I love my coach, and we'll deal with that down the road. But he could have just given the love my coach, or I always support my coach, or he just could have given some nondescript thing because it's just the idea, Paul, that when you say nothing, you leave the door open for. I say this to you all the time about PR 101. What's PR 101, Bill? What's the number one rule of PR 101? Do I have to remind you? Or are you going to tell me?
Yeah, get in front of the story.
Get in front of the story. You know the story that reporter wants to write. Should Harbaugh be back? Here's what Lamar has to say. Okay?
Right.
So
Lamar non-committal on Harbaugh return.
Right. If your position is, of course I want him back. I love my coach. He's a great coach. Then you say something to that effect so you don't give the writer or the broadcaster the opportunity to say, well, doesn't seem like I really gave him a vote of confidence. So does he want him back? Question mark. Why leave it? You just can emphatically shut it down or have the guy have to put your quote in there because he's going to quote you, okay, saying, I love my coach. I'd love to have him back. Not my decision to make, but I'd love to have him back. That's it. It's over. It's done. I understand you're still processing. You still just lost. It's like heat of the moment. I get all that. But you're going to get asked something there, okay? You say something in that bite that doesn't leave any ambiguity about where you stand. Does he really stand? It leads to question, does he really stand strong with his coach?
Fair.
I'm not answering. He opens the door. PR 101, get in front of the story. Don't chase it. That's the worst. Get in front. The way you get in front is when you're asked a direct question, you give a direct answer. You can even say, at the moment, this is where I stand. Whatever. You can.
Although that would very much. Yeah.
Got to be careful always about how you put that.
Yeah, right. At this moment, sure. Yeah, he's gonna wait. What are you suggesting that not at this moment he wouldn't?
I think if I were advising Lamar in this one, I would have just said, "Hey, you're going to get asked this question."
Something simple. Yeah, of course. I want to.
And if you ask him, just tell him you love John. That's it. You don't have to answer anymore. Just say, yes, I love my coach. By the way, I'm still processing this loss, so I really don't want to talk about the future. That's it.
Yeah.
Love John, but I'm not going to talk about the future. Done.
Right.
Now, the only thing they can put, if they're going to put you in a quote when they're writing a story about should he stay, is Lamar said after the game he still loves him. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to say.
Right.
But when Lamar says nothing, they say,
He stirs it. Yeah,
why
that's
did he
fair.
say nothing? Is all this stuff we're hearing correct? Fan. That's why you get in front of the story and you don't chase. PR 101. I could advise them all, Boy Green. I could make a lot of money as a consultant. Get in front of the story. That's the way it goes. Okay, let's put a nice neat bow on this one and a nice wrap. Thanks to everybody for tuning in today. Again, if you're not a subscriber already, jump in there and subscribe. Boy Green will throw it up there on the screen one more time. This is how you subscribe. You go to youtube.com/@MCShowDigital. Pop the subscribe button. We are less than 10 away from giving away that beautiful Jets program from 1972 that Boy Green has his hand on. And I will shoot a little video, Boy Green, and bring up my bobbleheads, my Anchorman bobbleheads, which we'll give away at 475 subscribers. 4 bobbleheads going your way out of my personal collection, all from the Anchorman movie. They're a lot of fun. You can put them on your shelf and have a blast and have people talk.
We're now 8 subscribers away, Lurch.
Right.
So we're keep chipping. So again, 8 subscribers away. Let me share it one more time, full screen here. Again, if you are one of the next 8 people to subscribe to that link on your screen, that is youtube.com/@MC Show Digital, you'll be eligible to win this free 1972 official New York Jets yearbook cover. It was $1 back in the day, not $1 anymore. It's in pristine condition. That has Joe Namath and, of course, John Riggins, a couple of Pro Football Hall of Famers from the Jets. And if you're one of our first 450 subscribers, again, there's only 8 spots left. It's first come, first serve. You'll be eligible to win that beautiful prize. And if you remain a subscriber, every free giveaway we do, we're doing another one at 475. We're doing another one at 500. Just make sure you're doing it here. Again, we're streaming live at a lot of different places. So again, go to this link right there on your screen and you guys can do it. So I thank you so much for the growth, everybody. We're just a wee baby here on the YouTube world on MC
So
Show
appreciative.
Digital.
So appreciative. Even as a little neophyte, as a little baby,
Yeah.
as Clyde Frazier would say, we're a neophyte.
Yeah.
But we've been here for 6 months and we really, really have enjoyed the interaction. Agree or disagree? Snoopy, I still love you, man, even though you hate me. All right. I just won't do it. I just won't get into the hate thing, man, because there's no hate. It's not about hate. It's not about Jets and Giants.
All love.
It's not about Giants and Raiders. Okay. I'll save that for game day. All right. You know, that's not today. So anyway, and if you don't agree that the spirit of competition is being compromised in the NFL today, then I don't know what you're watching. We're not watching the same thing, because I sat and watched the Giants Cowboys game yesterday. It was like one, like I said, angel on one side, devil on the other, and like I didn't know how to root. And I was like, oh, this is awful. I hate watching football this way. I just want to root for my team to win. I should be happy. We won. We beat the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. And yet I'm like, should I be happy? Oh, that was brutal. Oh, we're not going to get draft assets. Oh, why did we lose? Why did we beat those Raiders last week? What were we thinking? What? Is that the way you want the sports fan to be thinking? No, you don't. You don't. Come on. We all know that. Okay. Get out of the heat of battle for a minute and think about what you really want for sports, because I do think that matters. Okay. Sometimes you got to get out of our fan hats for a minute. We got to take them off. All right. And we got to say, okay, I'm just a sports person now. Okay, I'm not a Jets or a Giants only. I'm a sports person. I want sports to be better. I want them to be presented better. I want to watch them. I want to have reason to watch them, so on and so on. That's where I think this really comes from, genuinely, from the heart. That's really where it comes from. Okay. All right. We're back on Wednesday live again. Dalton Wasserman will be back with us. We'll break down all of the playoff games, the whole playoff schedule, which is already out. We know the times of the games and everything. Yeah. So we'll break it all down. All right. We've got Saturday games, Sunday games, and a Monday night.
And Monday. Correct. Yeah. Yes.
We'll get into all of that with Dalton. So we'll break that down. We'll continue doing our NFL picks, playoff style. We wipe the slate clean for the playoffs. So we'll announce our regular season winner on Friday during our pick segment, and then we will start picking for the playoffs. We will start all over there. And we've got the usual, our Jets insider, Jake Asman is back this week with us. I want to thank Nick Faria for filling in last week. We've got our Giants insider, Ed Valentine. We should have him tomorrow. Bud Poliquin is back again, all right? And our Bills insider, Anthony Prohaska, all joining us this week, all to talk about all of those New York teams and breaking them down left, right, and center. All right, folks, we'll see you live on Wednesday. Otherwise, we'll see you out there in the thing we call the internet. Don't forget, subscribe today, youtube.com/@MC Show Digital. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.